In moments of despair, when all hope seems lost, imagine an unseen hand reaching out to guide and heal. Raphael, the eternal Archangel, has been quietly shaping the course of human destiny. His presence, both tender and powerful, offering salvation in the most unexpected ways. Archangels are among the most exalted beings in the celestial hierarchy, created by God to fulfill His divine will. In the Bible, these mighty angels serve as messengers, warriors, and healers, carrying out God's commands with unwavering obedience and strength. Among them stands Raphael, whose role transcends mere service. Raphael, whose name means God heals, is not just a messenger but a divine agent of restoration. He is often associated with healing and guidance, tasked with the vital responsibility of bringing both physical and spiritual healing to humanity. Raphael's significance in the celestial order lies in his unique ability to bridge the divine and human realms, offering solace, guidance, and transformation when needed most. Raphael's importance becomes evident not just through his title but in his actions. While Michael is the warrior archangel and Gabriel the messenger, Raphael's mission is to heal and protect. He serves as a reminder of God's infinite mercy, an embodiment of divine care and compassion. The archangels, though all-powerful, serve distinct functions within the divine hierarchy. Raphael, however, is perhaps the most universally understood, as his healing nature resonates deeply with the human experience of suffering, both physical and emotional. His first major appearance in the Bible occurs in the book of Tobit, a story of faith, perseverance, and healing. Here, Raphael is sent by God to help the righteous Tobit and his family through their trials. Raphael not only restores Tobit's sight, but also frees Sarah from the torment of a demonic presence, leading her to a peaceful marriage with Tobias. In these instances, Raphael does not simply perform miracles. He offers guidance, wisdom, and a sense of hope in the face of adversity. His role in Tobit's life establishes him as a protector and a divine healer, one who brings restoration in both the spiritual and physical realms. But Raphael's influence stretches beyond the pages of the Bible. He is often invoked in prayers for healing and protection, a constant presence in the lives of those seeking divine aid. His association with medicine, healing, and guidance has earned him a special place in many religious traditions, from Judaism to Christianity. Raphael's identity as a healer is not confined to the pages of Scripture but is woven into the fabric of religious thought, where he represents the possibility of redemption and the power of divine compassion. The foundation for Raphael's importance is thus built upon his ability to serve as a conduit between God's will and human experience. His role is one of balance, offering healing to those who seek it, while maintaining the purity and holiness of the divine order. Raphael's story, woven through scripture and religious tradition, speaks not only to the human need for healing but to the eternal presence of divine grace and mercy that can transform lives. Raphael, like all archangels, was created in the earliest moments of time, long before the earth took shape. He was forged from the very light of God, born of the eternal wisdom and purpose that guided the formation of the cosmos. In the heavenly realm, Raphael exists in the company of the other archangels, beings of immense power and purity. These celestial beings, including Michael and Gabriel, were created to serve as instruments of God's will. They were not born in the way humans understand birth, but rather called into existence from the divine fabric of God's own being. Each archangel was designed with a unique purpose, and Raphael was no exception. His essence was imbued with the power of healing, a divine gift that would later prove indispensable in the grand tapestry of God's creation. In the celestial realm, Raphael lived in the presence of God, ever devoted to his will. He existed in a place of eternal harmony, free from the limitations of time and space, where the music of creation resonated in perfect unity. His role, as one of the archangels, was to be both a servant and a messenger, though his particular mission was often focused on the restoration and healing of God's creation. While Michael stood as the warrior angel and Gabriel as the divine herald, Raphael's role was that of a healer and a protector, tasked with nurturing the wounded and guiding the lost. He moved through the heavens, alongside the other archangels, fulfilling his sacred duties without hesitation, his presence a constant reminder of God's mercy. Raphael's relationship with God was one of perfect devotion. He, like the other archangels, was a reflection of God's omnipotence and love. In the heavenly courts, Raphael observed the divine order unfold and participated in the execution of God's plan. He was not merely a passive observer. His essence was tied directly to the divine will, and he carried out his duties with a deep sense of purpose and grace. His role, while often quiet and unseen by those on earth, was crucial in maintaining the cosmic balance and ensuring that the divine plan was carried out flawlessly. Though Raphael's time in the heavenly realm was marked by peace and reverence, there was always the understanding that his service to God was meant to extend beyond the confines of the celestial sphere. He, along with the other archangels, knew that his mission would one day lead him to the mortal realm, where his gifts of healing and protection would be called upon in ways even the heavenly host could not fully comprehend. It was not until the world began to fall into turmoil that Raphael's true purpose would be realized, not just as an angel of heaven, but as a divine healer and guide for humanity. In the heavenly courts, Raphael's role was integral to the divine order, while Michael, the warrior, was tasked with defending heaven's gates, and Gabriel, the messenger, carried God's decrees to both celestial and earthly realms. Raphael's function was one of profound healing. His presence in the courts was synonymous with restoration of both body and spirit. Raphael was not just a healer in the physical sense. His divine gift extended to the very soul, offering solace, comfort, and guidance to those who were burdened, whether they be angels or mortals. His healing was not limited by time or space, for he could mend the deep wounds that transcended earthly understanding. Raphael worked in harmony with the other archangels, forming a sacred union that balanced the forces of heaven. Michael, the mighty defender of heaven, was the warrior, and Gabriel, with his voice that echoed through the heavens, was the herald of God's will. Uriel, the archangel of wisdom, brought clarity and understanding. In contrast, Raphael was the angel who bridged the physical and spiritual. His role was one that was deeply intertwined with the care of both realms. Together, these archangels formed a triad of divine functions, each one complementary to the other, each one fulfilling a distinct aspect of God's celestial will. Raphael's connection to the heavenly host was not one of mere rank, but of profound unity. He was not simply a healer in a conventional sense. He embodied healing as a divine act, restoring not only the body but also the soul, aligning the will of heaven with the needs of creation. His bond with Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel was rooted in a shared commitment to God's plan. Their duties were sometimes distinct, but they operated together seamlessly, each one fulfilling his part in the grand cosmic order. In this sacred hierarchy, Raphael stood as a symbol of mercy, his presence an ongoing reminder of God's benevolence. The first recorded mention of Raphael in religious texts is in the Book of Tobit, an ancient work of the Hebrew Bible. In this text, Raphael appears in human guise, traveling on a mission to help Tobias, the son of Tobit, who was struggling with a series of misfortunes. Raphael's guidance in this narrative is not just physical. He teaches Tobias how to overcome life's trials through faith, devotion, and divine assistance. It is in this story that Raphael reveals himself as more than just an archangel, but a direct participant in the lives of humans, acting as a protector, healer, and guide. His role in the Book of Tobit marks a crucial moment in understanding Raphael not just as a celestial figure, but as a divine helper whose influence reaches across the boundaries of heaven and earth. Through this text, Raphael's mission of healing and his connection to humanity are first fully realized, paving the way for his further interactions with mankind. Raphael's journey to earth marked a significant moment in the celestial narrative. Though his presence in the heavenly courts was essential, His role as a divine messenger and healer transcended the confines of the spiritual realm. The Archangel's missions to Earth were not only acts of obedience to God's will, but also moments of divine intervention, where Raphael bridged the gap between the celestial and the earthly, offering guidance and healing to those in need. His descent to Earth was not a random act, but a purposeful journey designed to fulfill God's greater plan for humanity. Raphael's missions were many, but they always carried a singular purpose: to heal, guide, and protect. His first notable mission on Earth is recounted in the Book of Tobit, where Raphael is sent in disguise to assist the righteous Tobit and his son, Tobias. Tobit, blinded by an unfortunate misfortune, and Tobias, struggling with life's uncertainties, were in desperate need of divine intervention. Raphael, in his earthly guise, offered guidance and healing, restoring Tobit's sight and helping Tobias overcome trials that threatened his well-being. Raphael's intervention went beyond mere physical healing. He provided spiritual insight, showing Tobias the power of faith, devotion, and the importance of righteous living. This mission revealed Raphael's unique ability to combine the practical with the divine, offering tangible assistance, while also imparting eternal truths about God's love and providence. The symbolic roles Raphael played on Earth reflected the very essence of his heavenly duties. As a healer, he brought comfort to the sick and ailing, not just through physical remedies, but through his divine presence, which soothed troubled souls. As a guide, he provided wisdom to those lost in confusion, showing them the path of righteousness. And as a protector, he ensured that those under his care were shielded from harm, guarding them against the darkness of the world. His protection extended beyond the physical realm. He also shielded people from spiritual harm, guarding their hearts and minds against despair and sin. Raphael's relationship with humanity was deeply personal, yet always rooted in his celestial origin. He was not an outsider observing from above, but an active participant in the struggles and triumphs of mankind. His missions brought him into direct contact with those he sought to heal, showing them not only the power of divine intervention but the compassionate heart of a loving God. His earthly journeys were a reflection of God's care for humanity, proof that heaven's concern for human suffering extended beyond mere observation into action. Through Raphael's missions, humans were reminded of their connection to the divine, of the presence of heavenly aid even in their darkest moments. His time on Earth was a manifestation of God's love, a love that reached down, offering healing, guidance, and protection to all who were willing to receive it. The Book of Tobit presents a powerful narrative where divine intervention meets human struggle. In this story, Raphael enters the earthly realm not as a figure of overwhelming grandeur, but in the guise of a humble traveler sent to aid those in need. The story is centered around Tobit, a righteous man of the tribe of Naphtali, who experiences a series of misfortunes. Blinded by a freak accident, he is left in a state of despair, praying for death. His son Tobias, too, faces his own challenges, unaware of the divine mission that awaits him. Sarah, a young woman of great beauty and grace, lives across the land, burdened by tragedy. 7 times she has been married, and 7 times her husbands have mysteriously died on their wedding night, leaving her devastated and in a constant state of grief. Both Sarah and her family are trapped in a cycle of misfortune and sorrow, their lives marked by miseries beyond their control. It is in the midst of these troubled circumstances that Raphael, in the form of a traveling companion, enters the lives of Tobit and Tobias. Raphael's divine task is to assist Tobias, guiding him on a journey that will ultimately bring healing and redemption to both families. His presence is subtle, blending in with the human world in a way that allows him to act as both a guide and a protector. Tobias, unaware of his companion's true nature, accepts Raphael's assistance without question, finding a wise and comforting presence in the angel. Raphael's role in the Book of Tobit is multifaceted. He is both the healer and the protector. As Tobias embarks on his journey to collect a debt for his father, he is faced with danger and uncertainty. Raphael's guidance provides him with the tools he needs to navigate these challenges. The angel instructs Tobias on how to use a fish's heart and liver to cure his father's blindness, a gift that will restore Tobit's sight. He also advises Tobias on how to protect himself from the demon Asmodeus, who has tormented Sarah's previous husbands. By encouraging Tobias to marry Sarah, Raphael sets in motion a series of events that will break the cycle of death and misfortune that has plagued Sarah's life. Raphael's divine task, though seemingly simple, is profound in its implications. It demonstrates that divine intervention often arrives in unexpected forms, and that angels, though powerful and sacred, work quietly, often behind the scenes. Raphael's mission is a testament to the belief that God's care for humanity is not distant, but personal, involving direct action in the lives of those who are suffering. His work in the Book of Tobit exemplifies the deep compassion of the divine, offering healing and hope to those who are ready to receive it. Through his intervention, Raphael not only heals the physical ailments of Tobit and Sarah, but also brings peace to their hearts, showing the transformative power of divine guidance and love. Tobit's blindness had long been a source of great suffering, not only for him but for his entire family. His once active life as a devout and righteous man had been reduced to helplessness, his spirit burdened by the weight of his affliction. For many years, he prayed fervently, asking God to take his life, unable to bear the pain and the sense of helplessness. His blindness had become a symbol of his trials, both physical and emotional. Yet, even in his despair, Tobit's faith never wavered, and it was this very faith that became the conduit for a divine miracle. As Tobit's son, Tobias, embarked on his journey to recover a debt owed to his father, he was unaware that divine intervention had already begun to weave its way into the story. Raphael, disguised as a traveling companion, became Tobias's guide and protector. He led Tobias across dangerous paths, offering counsel and support. Along the way, Raphael gave Tobias a unique and seemingly simple instruction: to catch a fish from the river, keep its heart, liver, and gallbladder, for these organs would be key to his father's healing. The healing began when Tobias returned home and followed Raphael's guidance. With the fish's liver and heart, Tobias burned them as incense and used the smoke to cure his father's blindness. This was no ordinary remedy, but a miraculous act, woven with divine power. When Tobit was anointed with the fish's gall, his sight was instantly restored. The darkness that had encased his eyes for so long lifted in an instant, and he could see once again. The restoration of Tobit's sight was not just a physical healing, but also a spiritual one. His faith, tested by years of suffering, was rewarded with a sign of God's mercy and grace. It was a moment of profound relief, a release from the heavy burden that had consumed him for so long. His sight returned, but so too did a renewed sense of purpose and understanding. He no longer saw just with his eyes, but with a heart filled with gratitude and awareness of God's divine plan. Tobit's immediate reaction to the miracle was one of awe and gratitude. He praised God with a fervor that was long overdue, knowing that the restoration of his sight was a gift of divine love and mercy. This healing, though deeply personal for Tobit and his family, symbolized a larger truth: that God's intervention, even when veiled in mystery, brings light into the darkness and hope into despair. The miracle of Tobit's sight reminded all who witnessed it of God's constant presence in their lives, guiding them toward healing and wholeness. Raphael's role in this act was not just as a healer, but as a messenger of God's will, demonstrating the power of faith and divine grace in the face of seemingly insurmountable suffering. Tobias's journey to Media was one of great importance, not just for the practical task of retrieving his father's money, but also for the deeper spiritual lessons that would unfold along the way. A young man, both eager and uncertain, Tobias set out with a mission to fulfill a family obligation. What he did not know, however, was that his journey would be accompanied by divine guidance, and his protector would be none other than Raphael. Though Tobias did not yet recognize the angel's true nature, Raphael appeared to Tobias as a fellow traveler, a companion who would offer counsel and protection along the arduous road ahead. Though Tobias initially saw him as an ordinary man, Raphael's presence was anything but ordinary. He was not just a guide, but a divine being sent to walk beside Tobias, ensuring his safety and offering wisdom as the journey unfolded. From the very start, Raphael led Tobias with steady wisdom, showing him the way through unfamiliar lands and offering advice that proved invaluable at every turn. The journey was fraught with dangers, both physical and spiritual. They encountered bandits along the way, and Raphael provided Tobias with the courage and strategy to protect himself. However, it wasn't only the external threats that Tobias had to navigate. His own doubts and insecurities began to surface as they traveled deeper into the wilderness. In these moments, Raphael's guidance went beyond practical advice, extending into the realm of spiritual understanding. Raphael helped Tobias to see his fears in a new light, teaching him not to be afraid, but to trust in God's providence and his own ability to overcome challenges. Alongside Raphael's protection, their bond grew stronger. Tobias began to notice that his companion was not just wise, but deeply compassionate. Raphael's teachings were grounded in patience, humility, and faith. The angel shared insights into God's purpose for Tobias, and Tobias, in turn, listened intently. What began as a journey to retrieve a simple debt transformed into an opportunity for spiritual growth, with Raphael serving as both a mentor and a friend. Their bond deepened as they approached Media. Tobias learned from Raphael not only about the world, but also about himself. The angel's influence helped Tobias face moments of doubt with greater faith, strengthening his resolve. Through Raphael's calm and steady presence, Tobias realized that his journey was not simply about retrieving money, but about his own journey of maturation, both as a person and in his relationship with God. By the time they reached Media, Tobias had been transformed. The physical journey had led him to discover his inner strength, and Raphael's role as guide and protector had set him on a path of spiritual enlightenment. What began as a simple task had become a profound experience of divine guidance, one that would continue to echo throughout Tobias's life. Sarah's life had been one of endless suffering, a woman whose heart was heavy with despair. She had been married 7 times, each union tragically ending on her wedding night, when a demon named Asmodeus killed her husbands before the marriage could be consummated. This unexplainable and cruel fate had left Sarah isolated, her family ashamed, and her future uncertain. Each failed marriage was another bitter wound, and Sarah, once filled with hope, had become consumed with grief, believing that she was cursed and beyond redemption. Her fate seemed inescapable until Raphael intervened, bringing light into her darkness. Raphael's role in Sarah's life was no less significant than in Tobias's. As he traveled with Tobias, the Archangel knew that their journey would eventually lead to Sarah, whose deliverance was just as much a part of God's plan. He had been sent not only to guide Tobias, but to bring healing and hope to Sarah. Upon their arrival, Raphael's divine intervention began quietly, but powerfully, with the angel revealing to Sarah the true nature of her affliction. Raphael instructed Tobias to pray with her, invoking God's power to drive the demon away. The prayer was simple yet profound. "You are the God of our fathers, and we are your servants. Deliver Sarah from her torment." Raphael's presence was the catalyst that began to shift Sarah's life. As he directed Tobias to burn the liver and heart of a fish in the fire, the smoke served as a repellent to the demon, and soon Asmodeus was driven out. The demon's power over Sarah was broken. It was not just a physical release from the demon's grip, but a spiritual renewal that took place. Sarah, once paralyzed by fear and hopelessness, was now free to begin again, unburdened by the dark shadow that had haunted her for so long. With the demon gone, the wedding could finally take place. Tobias, whose heart had grown fond of Sarah during their journey, was now able to take her as his wife. Their union, long delayed by the forces of evil, was blessed by Raphael. What had once been an impossible marriage was now a cause for celebration. The night that had been filled with dread in Sarah's past became a night of joy and promise for the couple. They were married, and the heavens seemed to rejoice with them. Raphael's role in their marriage went beyond simply guiding them through the trials of the moment. He had brought them both healing Sarah's physical and emotional healing from the demon's hold, and Tobias's spiritual healing through the strength of his faith and his perseverance. Their successful union was a testimony to God's grace and Raphael's unwavering commitment to fulfilling God's will. With the demon's departure, the darkness of Sarah's past faded, and she was able to step into a future of love and hope, a future that had once seemed impossible. As the journey with Tobias and Sarah came to an end, Raphael's divine mission was nearing its completion. The miracles he had performed guiding Tobias to safety, healing Tobit's blindness, and delivering Sarah from the clutches of the demon Asmodeus had all been carried out with quiet, steadfast purpose. Yet, until now, Raphael had remained veiled in the form of a companion, appearing only as a human to Tobias, Sarah, and their families. He had moved among them as a trusted guide, but his true identity remained hidden. The moment of revelation came as a quiet, awe-filled crescendo. After the wedding of Tobias and Sarah, as the family rejoiced in their newfound joy, Raphael chose to disclose the full extent of his nature. Standing before Tobias, Sarah, and their parents, Raphael revealed himself not as the human companion they had known, but as an archangel of the Lord. His words, simple yet laden with divine authority, unveiled the mystery. I am Raphael, one of the 7 angels who stand ready and enter before the glory of the Lord. His announcement was not one of pride, but of divine duty, a confirmation of the heavenly mission that had guided every step of their journey. Tobias and his family, though already aware of the miracles that had unfolded before them, were struck with awe. The truth of Raphael's identity illuminated the reality that they had been in the presence of something far greater than they had ever imagined. Tobias, filled with reverence, fell to his knees in gratitude. He had journeyed not just with a faithful companion, but with a divine messenger sent by God to restore his family's fortune and faith. Raphael's unveiling was not just a revelation of his identity, but also a profound lesson in the nature of angels themselves. As heavenly beings, angels like Raphael serve as messengers and agents of God's will. Their mission is not always to be seen or known, but to carry out the divine purpose, acting as mediators between heaven and earth. Raphael's role as both healer and guide illustrated the twin aspects of the archangelic task: to bring physical healing, as he had done for Tobit, and to deliver divine knowledge and protection, as he had done for Tobias and Sarah. Having completed his divine assignment, Raphael knew his time on earth had come to an end. With a sense of peace and fulfillment, he prepared to return to heaven. His departure was quiet, a soft shift in the air, as if the very fabric of the world itself acknowledged the angel's return to the divine realms. Tobias and his family, now forever changed by the presence of such a being, watched in silence, grateful for the archangel's mission, and understanding that the unseen world had touched their lives in ways they would never fully comprehend. Raphael had fulfilled his purpose, and in doing so, had revealed the depth of God's care for those who walk in faith. Raphael's role as a healer transcended the individual, carrying a divine significance that extended to the broader realm of nations and peoples. While his intervention in the lives of Tobias, Tobit, and Sarah was a singular manifestation of his healing gift, it reflected a deeper, symbolic role that Raphael played within the cosmic order. As an archangel, his purpose went beyond merely addressing the ailments of individuals. He was a symbol of divine restoration, carrying within him the power to heal the brokenness that existed within the world itself. In biblical tradition, Raphael is not merely an angel of physical healing, but a bearer of spiritual and collective restoration. His interventions were meant to be a reminder that God's healing power is not limited to personal suffering but extends to the restoration of entire communities and nations. The healing that Raphael provided was symbolic of God's grace, reaching beyond the immediate needs of individuals to touch the wider scope of creation. Raphael's guidance to Tobias on his journey was not only about finding a cure for his father's blindness, but it also mirrored the greater need for humanity to be guided back to wholeness, to have their vision restored both literally and spiritually. Raphael's influence is evident in his role as a healer of nations, a role that suggests that God's plan for salvation extends beyond individual acts of mercy to a global scale. In the Old Testament, angels like Raphael were often associated with the restoration of Israel, calling the nation back to righteousness. Healing was not just about restoring the sick to health, but about bringing nations to a place of spiritual clarity where divine order could be reestablished. His work, though not always visible, was part of a cosmic movement towards healing and redemption. Beyond the Hebrew scriptures, Raphael's healing presence was recognized in other religious and cultural traditions, demonstrating the breadth of his influence. In Christian apocryphal writings, Raphael is often depicted as playing a significant role in the broader spiritual life of the faithful. His name is linked to the restoration of life and hope in times of despair, symbolizing the healing of a broken world. Many ancient texts, including those from Gnostic and Manichaean traditions, align with this view, recognizing Raphael as a figure who bridges the human and the divine, offering healing not just to individuals but to entire societies. The Archangel's role as a healer of nations is not confined to his appearances in sacred scripture but continues to echo throughout history, especially in times of war, strife, and spiritual desolation. Raphael embodies the eternal possibility of restoration and healing that is available to all people, regardless of their background or circumstances. His name, which means God has healed, is a timeless reminder that healing flows from the divine, touching not only the individual but the nations as well. Raphael's presence, then, is both a promise and a symbol. A promise that the healing of the soul and of society is always within reach, and a symbol of the continuous movement toward redemption for both the body and the spirit. Raphael stands as the divine embodiment of healing within the biblical narrative, a messenger sent by God to restore not only individuals but the brokenness of the world. His identity as the angel of healing is not a mere role but a reflection of the very nature of divine grace. Raphael is not a passive figure, detached from the suffering of humanity. Instead, he actively participates in the restoration of both body and spirit, offering the healing power of God in a world that is often fractured by sin and suffering. His healing is not limited to physical ailments, but extends to the deep spiritual and emotional wounds that afflict mankind, making him a pivotal figure in understanding the biblical notion of divine restoration. Theologically, Raphael's nature as a healer aligns with the broader purpose of angels in the Bible, who are messengers of God's will and agents of his power. Angels, in biblical theology, are not independent agents but instruments through which God's presence and will are made manifest in the world. Raphael, however, emphasizes the merciful and restorative side of God's plan, while other angels, like Michael, are associated with war and justice. Raphael's role as a healer places him within the context of God's compassionate nature, reminding humanity of God's desire to restore what is broken and to bring wholeness where there is fragmentation. His work is a tangible manifestation of the divine impulse to heal and renew. Raphael's healing nature is particularly significant when viewed through the lens of the biblical tradition, which often highlights the link between physical and spiritual health. In many biblical accounts, healing is both a sign of God's grace and an invitation to spiritual renewal. The physical healing of Tobias's father, Tobit, is not just an act of divine mercy. It is a sign of the restoration that God desires for his people. Raphael's intervention in this story transcends mere medical healing and speaks to the larger theme of spiritual healing. His actions are an extension of God's redemptive work in the world, reminding humanity that true healing involves the whole person, body, soul, and spirit. In the context of religious practices surrounding health and healing, Raphael holds a place of particular importance. His name, which means God has healed, has made him a patron of healing. invoked in prayer and ritual for restoration of health and well-being. In Jewish, Christian, and even Islamic traditions, Raphael's presence is often associated with divine intervention in times of sickness or suffering. His image as a healer is deeply rooted in religious practices that emphasize the power of divine healing, whether in physical, mental, or spiritual realms. Prayers and devotions to Raphael seek not only physical cures but also deeper restoration, calling on his intercession to mend the wounds of the soul. Thus, Raphael's significance within religious practices of healing extends beyond his immediate actions as a divine messenger. He is a symbol of God's ongoing work of healing and transformation in the world, reminding believers of the divine presence that seeks to restore and make whole all that is broken. Through Raphael, the healing nature of God becomes tangible, inviting humanity into the process of redemption, not just for individuals, but for the world itself. Angels, in their divine purpose, are messengers, protectors, and guides to humanity. Their role is deeply interwoven with the life and journey of mankind, acting as agents through which God's will is communicated and carried out. Raphael, as one of the most prominent archangels, embodies these roles in their fullest sense, offering guidance, protection, and healing. Throughout biblical scripture, angels are not distant beings, but are actively involved in the lives of individuals and communities, offering support and direction when humans are vulnerable or in need of divine intervention. Raphael's unique role in this celestial hierarchy is that of a companion and protector who walks beside humanity, ensuring that divine purposes unfold with grace and wisdom. Raphael's intervention in key biblical moments underscores the important relationship between angels and humans. In the Book of Tobit, Raphael's role as a guide and protector is evident in his companionship with Tobias. He journeys with Tobias through dangerous lands, offering counsel and protection. As Tobias faces trials, Raphael's wisdom and presence remind him that he is not alone. Beyond merely providing practical assistance, Raphael fosters trust and growth in Tobias, guiding him toward his destiny. Raphael's involvement in this story illustrates a broader pattern in which angels do not act as detached overseers but engage in a deeply personal and intimate way with those they are sent to assist. His guidance is not just for the journey. It is for the purpose of strengthening faith, building character, and ultimately leading humanity closer to God's plan. The interrelationship between humans and angels, as exemplified by Raphael, suggests a partnership between the divine and human worlds. Angels, through their interactions with humans, bridge the gap between heaven and earth. They are not only there to deliver messages but also to protect and nurture the spiritual growth of those they accompany. Raphael's healing work, both in the case of Tobit's blindness and Sarah's liberation from demonic influence, points to a deeper purpose: the restoration of harmony. Angels, as seen through Raphael, provide more than temporal help. They are instruments of divine order, helping humans navigate the complex terrain of faith, suffering, and salvation. Raphael's actions are a testament to the enduring truth that angels are not passive beings, but active participants in the human story. They work alongside us, not above or outside our struggles, but within them, guiding us toward higher understanding and spiritual fulfillment. The biblical depictions of angels highlight that they are present at moments of profound change, whether in moments of crisis, healing, or divine revelation. Through Raphael's actions, humans are reminded that they are never abandoned by the divine, that God's guidance and healing are always at hand through the faithful service of his angels. In this sense, angels like Raphael are not only divine helpers, but the tangible presence of God's care and intervention in our lives. In the ancient texts of the Book of Enoch, Raphael's role takes on a more complex and commanding aspect. Unlike his appearances in other biblical accounts, where he serves as a compassionate guide and healer, in Enoch, Raphael is seen as an enforcer of divine justice. The Book of Enoch, considered an apocryphal text by many religious traditions, presents a vivid narrative of the fall of the Watchers, the angels who defied their heavenly duties and descended to earth, taking human wives and corrupting humanity. These rebellious angels, in their desire to impart forbidden knowledge, brought ruin to the earth, and their actions led to widespread chaos and sin. It is within this framework that Raphael steps into the scene, fulfilling a pivotal role in the restoration of order. Raphael is one of the primary archangels charged with dealing with the consequences of the Watcher's rebellion. His task is not one of healing or guiding individuals, as it often is in other stories, but of bringing the fallen angels to justice. In the Book of Enoch, Raphael is one of the divine beings chosen by God to bind the Watchers and imprison them for their transgressions. This act of binding is not merely a physical restraint. It is symbolic of the divine decree that no being, no matter how powerful, is exempt from God's judgment. Raphael's task is to execute this decree, ensuring that the Watchers are held accountable for their actions and that their corrupting influence is removed from the world. Raphael's role in binding the fallen angels demonstrates the duality of his divine nature. On one hand, he is an angel of healing and mercy, but on the other, he is also an instrument of divine retribution. His actions in the Book of Enoch reflect his capacity to restore balance and cleanse the earth of impurity. The Watchers' transgressions, their mingling with humanity, and the subsequent birth of the Nephilim who brought destruction to the world left the earth tainted with corruption. Raphael, along with Michael and other heavenly hosts, is sent to execute the necessary purification, both spiritually and physically. His task is an essential one, marking a moment of cosmic cleansing in the history of creation. Raphael's connection to the Watchers and his role in the cleansing of the earth highlight his importance in the broader narrative of divine order. He is not simply a healer of human afflictions, but a guardian of divine boundaries, ensuring that creation remains aligned with God's will. The Book of Enoch presents Raphael as a figure who bridges the realms of divine mercy and justice. His involvement in the judgment of the Watchers emphasizes the delicate balance between forgiveness and punishment, between healing and purification. As the Watchers are bound in the abyss, the earth is given a chance to heal, and Raphael's work becomes a pivotal moment in the restoration of cosmic harmony. Through Raphael, divine will is carried out with precision, bringing closure to the corruption introduced by the Watchers and marking the beginning of a new chapter in the earth's history. Raphael's association with healing and medicine runs deep within Jewish tradition, where he is often seen as the celestial embodiment of divine care. As the archangel responsible for healing, Raphael is not merely an agent of physical restoration, but a symbol of divine intervention that nurtures the soul and body alike. In the Jewish scriptures, particularly in the Book of Tobit, Raphael's healing powers are manifest when he restores Tobit's sight, bringing miraculous recovery. This act of healing, both literal and spiritual, solidifies Raphael's place as a figure who mediates God's will to bring about both physical and emotional restoration. Over time, Raphael became recognized as the patron of healers and physicians, a title that aligned with his divine role. In Jewish mysticism, especially within Kabbalistic teachings, Raphael is viewed as an archangel who governs the realm of medicine. His influence is seen in the workings of natural medicine and the arts of healing, as those who sought to cure the sick or tend to the body would invoke Raphael for guidance and protection. This divine patronage transcended religious boundaries and became a part of the broader healing traditions of the Jewish people. Whether through herbal remedies, prayer, or other healing practices, Raphael was perceived as the guiding force behind these endeavors. In later traditions, Raphael's role extended beyond the boundaries of ancient texts into the development of medical thought. As the patron of physicians, his divine intervention was invoked in the hopes of both healing the body and ensuring the well-being of those who offered medical care. This sacred association gave rise to the image of Raphael not just as a protector, but as a healer whose very essence could imbue physical recovery with a sense of divine purpose. His ability to heal became more than just a physical touch. It was a spiritual connection, a conduit between the human soul and the infinite mercy of God. In the broader spiritual context, Raphael's healing touch became an archetype for the act of spiritual healing. He was seen not only as the physician of the body, but as a figure capable of restoring the soul, guiding individuals back to their true self. His healing power extended beyond the curing of ailments to encompass the restoration of balance within the individual, allowing for emotional, mental, and physical harmony. The notion of Raphael as a healing force emphasizes the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, asserting that true health arises from divine alignment. Thus, Raphael's legacy as the healer and patron of physicians is one that continues to resonate in various religious and spiritual practices. His presence as the divine healer embodies both the comfort of restoration and the deeper wisdom of spiritual health, reminding humanity of the sacred role that healing plays in the ongoing relationship between the earthly and the divine. Through Raphael, the ancient connection between health and holiness remains a powerful symbol of God's enduring love and mercy for all of creation. Raphael's role in Christian traditions has evolved over time, with his significance deepening as the Church developed its angelological teachings. In the early Christian period, Raphael was less prominent compared to archangels like Michael and Gabriel, but his role as a healer and divine guide gradually became central to Christian angelology. While the Christian Bible does not mention Raphael by name in the canonical texts, his presence is felt through the stories of healing, divine intervention, and guidance that align closely with his traditional role as the Archangel of healing. In Christian theology, Raphael is often associated with healing both the body and the soul. His appearance in the apocryphal Book of Tobit is a key moment that underscores his identity as a divine healer. In this text, Raphael not only heals Tobit's blindness but also guides Tobias on his journey, offering both physical protection and spiritual wisdom. The importance of these acts in the Christian narrative is that they highlight Raphael's role in providing guidance in times of uncertainty and healing in times of suffering, echoing Christ's own ministry on earth. Over time, this connection grew as Raphael was increasingly seen as a mediator between God and humanity, offering not just physical healing but also helping individuals reconnect with the divine. Raphael's identification as an archangel of guidance extended beyond the stories of Tobit, influencing Christian perceptions of angelic roles. As a messenger of God, Raphael was seen as one who bridged the gap between heaven and earth, assisting humanity in understanding divine will. His healing touch and his role as a companion to Tobias reflect his broader function as an angel who brings clarity and protection, much as Jesus did in his earthly ministry. Christian traditions began to see Raphael as a guide who helps believers navigate the trials of life, offering wisdom, comfort, and solace in moments of distress. In Christian angelology, Raphael holds a distinct place among the archangels. Theologically, he is often viewed as the angel who symbolizes divine mercy and healing. The other archangels, Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel, are associated with warfare, communication, and wisdom respectively, but Raphael's role as a healer sets him apart. His presence within Christian thought is typically as an intercessor who works to restore balance, whether by healing the body, guiding souls to greater understanding, or protecting individuals from harm. The evolution of Raphael within Christian theology underscores the growing emphasis on the archangels as not just messengers of God but as integral figures in the spiritual life of believers. Raphael's healing ministry transcends physical ailments, offering a deeper, more spiritual healing that resonates with Christians seeking divine intervention in times of personal or communal crisis. Through this, Raphael's image continues to be embraced within the Church as a reminder of God's care for his creation, a tangible symbol of the divine's will to restore and heal. Raphael's role in eschatological texts, particularly in the Book of Revelation, is one that has been a subject of interpretation and reflection throughout Christian history. While the archangel is not explicitly named in Revelation, his influence can be traced through the actions and themes presented within the text. Raphael, as the divine healer and messenger, holds a place within the larger narrative of the final battle between good and evil, often seen as part of the heavenly host that aids in the fulfillment of God's ultimate plan. In the apocalyptic landscape of Revelation, Raphael is understood as part of the army of angels who play a critical role in bringing about the final judgment. His presence is implied in the actions of the angels who are sent to execute God's will in the end times. As the Archangel of healing and guidance, Raphael's symbolism aligns with the restoration and renewal themes found in Revelation. The text presents a world ravaged by sin, where God's divine judgment must restore order and righteousness. Raphael, with his role as a divine healer, is believed to serve in this broader cosmic restoration, symbolizing the healing of the world after it undergoes purification through the judgment of the wicked. The participation of Raphael in divine judgments is not limited to acts of wrath, but is also seen in his efforts to guide and lead humanity toward redemption. Just as he served as a messenger to Tobias, guiding him through trials, so too does Raphael act as a spiritual guide for the righteous in the final days. His role is a reminder that even amid the great tribulation, there is healing and hope. Raphael's healing touch, seen throughout his biblical appearances, is understood as part of the restoration of the earth, a key component of the end times when God's justice is fully realized. Raphael's participation in the apocalyptic battle is not just physical but spiritual, representing the triumph of divine order over chaos and sin. In Revelation, this battle is portrayed as a cosmic struggle, with angels and demons clashing in a war that ultimately leads to the restoration of peace and righteousness. Raphael, as a healer, embodies the healing that must follow the destruction. His role points to the ultimate victory of good over evil, offering solace and hope to those who endure suffering. His presence in the text signifies that the destruction of evil is not the end but the beginning of something more profound, a new heaven and new earth, healed and made whole again. While Raphael does not play a direct role in the vivid battles described in Revelation, his influence is understood in the larger spiritual framework of divine judgment and the eventual redemption of humanity. As an angel of healing, he represents the mercy and restoration that follows the purging of sin, an essential aspect of the apocalyptic vision of God's final victory over evil. Raphael's healing has always gone beyond the physical. Though best known for restoring sight and delivering the afflicted from demons, his true power lies in healing the soul, the unseen wounds that linger beneath the surface of human experience. In scripture and sacred tradition, Raphael is more than a healer of bodies. He is a restorer of balance, a purifier of hearts, and a guide for those crossing from this life into the next. His presence is a reminder that the soul, fragile and eternal, also needs mending. In the spiritual realm, Raphael is seen as a companion to the soul in its journey after death. Ancient texts and later theological reflections portray him as an angel who walks with the departed through the stages of purification. Not all wounds leave the flesh. Some cling to the soul long after breath has left the body. Regret, sorrow, unhealed grief, these leave marks that cannot be seen but must still be addressed. Raphael, whose very name means God heals, offers comfort and clarity to those undergoing this sacred transformation. His guidance is not punitive but restorative. He tends to the soul with compassion, helping it release what must be left behind and preparing it for the light it is meant to receive. Some early Christian and Jewish mystical traditions depict Raphael as one of the angels who guards the realms of the afterlife. He does not judge but accompanies, leading the soul through the refining fire of truth, where nothing false can remain. In these visions, Raphael is not only present at the hour of death, but also acts as a guardian through the veiled spaces beyond, helping souls find peace, reconciliation, and rest. Where fear might rule, Raphael brings peace. Where confusion sets in, he offers clarity. His healing is not just relief, it is transformation. This role has deeply influenced devotional traditions that call on Raphael at the moment of death. Prayers asking for his presence often seek not just a safe passage, but the cleansing of the soul, that the journey may be not one of dread, but of hope. Raphael's work does not end when the body fails. In many ways, it begins anew. The soul, having been stripped of all earthly distractions, comes face to face with its true condition. It is there, in that vulnerable exposure, that Raphael offers his most intimate healing. He speaks not to flesh, but to the essence of who a person is. Guiding souls to their final resting place is a sacred responsibility, one entrusted only to those who reflect God's deepest mercy. Raphael, as the angel of healing, carries this responsibility with quiet strength. His work ensures that even in death, the human soul is never abandoned. It is accompanied, tended to, and led gently into the presence of God. Through Raphael, the promise of divine healing stretches across the veil, offering assurance that no soul walks alone and no wound is too deep for grace. Raphael's influence stretches far beyond the biblical texts into the rich, hidden realms of mysticism and esoteric traditions. In Jewish Kabbalah, where angels hold a profound role in the cosmological framework, Raphael is often regarded as one of the most significant archangels. His presence is woven into the fabric of spiritual teachings that explore the deeper mysteries of creation, healing, and divine intervention. As a healer, Raphael represents not just physical restoration but the spiritual mending of the soul, a theme that resonates strongly in the mystical schools of thought. His energy is believed to flow through the Sephirot, the divine emanations that shape the universe, particularly through Tiferet, the sphere of beauty and harmony, aligning with his role as a mediator between God and humanity. In Kabbalah, Raphael is often invoked in the context of healing both the individual and the world. He is not only an agent of physical healing but also a channel for the restoration of balance between the divine and the earthly. His name, meaning God heals, is emblematic of the esoteric teachings that regard him as a force that brings both spiritual and material transformation. Mystics believe Raphael's power to heal can extend to the spiritual ailments of the soul, offering deep purification from the wounds of life, just as he healed Tobit's blindness. In the realm of Kabbalistic practice, he is connected to the purification process, facilitating a return to wholeness that transcends the mundane world. Beyond Jewish mysticism, Raphael's influence spreads across various esoteric and occult traditions. In the broader occult teachings, Raphael is recognized as an archangel associated with knowledge and wisdom, serving as a divine messenger who brings clarity and understanding. His lore is rich with accounts of his intervention in human affairs, from guiding souls to the afterlife to assisting in the healing of physical and emotional wounds. The role of Raphael in these teachings is often linked to the activation of divine light, particularly in the realms of astral projection and energy healing, where his energies are believed to guide and protect practitioners. The interactions of Raphael with divine mysteries are often portrayed as acts of both protection and revelation. He is seen as a bridge to the unknown, a force that helps initiates navigate spiritual realms, uncovering hidden truths that lie beyond human perception. This aspect of Raphael's role is central to many occult rituals, where he is invoked not only for healing but for insight into the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos. His association with the divine mysteries extends to his connection with other archangels, such as Michael and Gabriel, who together form a triad of divine will, power, and wisdom. Raphael's influence, therefore, is not limited to the physical world or even the immediate spiritual realm. His power reaches into the deepest recesses of esoteric thought, where he aids seekers in understanding the nature of the divine and the hidden forces that govern existence. In these traditions, Raphael is revered as an essential guide to the divine mysteries, a protector, and a healer whose presence offers both insight and balance to those who seek to understand the hidden dimensions of the universe. Raphael's role within Christianity has evolved over centuries, with his influence spanning across various branches of the faith. His significance extends beyond his appearances in the Bible, shaping not only religious practices but also the veneration of saints and the establishment of churches dedicated to his name. While Raphael is most prominently recognized in the Catholic tradition, his influence is also felt in Orthodox and, to a lesser extent, Protestant traditions. In Catholicism, Raphael holds the esteemed title of patron saint of travelers, healing, and the sick, all roles that align closely with his biblical mission to guide, protect, and heal. His association with Tobias and his healing miracles establish him as a protector of those in need of physical, emotional, or spiritual recovery. As the patron of healing, Raphael is invoked in prayers for health and wellness, with many Catholics seeking his intercession in times of illness or distress. Numerous saints, particularly those who minister to the sick or lead pilgrimages, have a special connection to Raphael, drawing upon his divine power for strength and healing. Churches dedicated to Raphael can be found in various parts of the world, particularly within Catholic communities. One notable example is the Church of Saint Bain, Raphael in the town of Saint Raphael in France, where the Archangel's healing influence is honored. These churches, often built on sites where miraculous healings or divine interventions were said to have occurred, serve as centers for prayer and worship. Pilgrims flock to these places, seeking the Archangel's guidance and protection, especially when embarking on physical journeys or when in need of spiritual healing. Raphael's role in these sacred spaces is not only one of intercession but also a reminder of the Archangel's deep connection to God's mercy and grace. In the Orthodox tradition, Raphael is similarly honored, though with a slightly different emphasis. As one of the 7 archangels, Raphael is part of the broader celestial hierarchy, alongside Michael and Gabriel, playing a critical role in the heavenly host. Orthodox Christians venerate Raphael for his powerful role in guiding and healing souls, focusing on his abilities to protect the faithful from both physical and spiritual harm. Orthodox icons often depict Raphael as a radiant figure, emphasizing his role as a healer and guide. The Orthodox Church recognizes Raphael's role in both individual and communal salvation, linking his divine ministry to the larger cosmic struggle between good and evil. In Protestant traditions, Raphael's role is more nuanced. While not as widely venerated as in Catholicism and Orthodoxy, some Protestant denominations acknowledge Raphael's importance, particularly in the context of healing and guidance. His mention in the Book of Tobit, though not accepted in all Protestant Bibles, still carries symbolic significance for many believers. In certain Protestant communities, Raphael is respected as a divine messenger, but his role remains more focused on his actions in biblical history than on personal devotion. Across all Christian traditions, Raphael's influence as a patron saint reflects his enduring importance as a protector, healer, and guide, transcending denominational boundaries to offer comfort and divine intervention to those in need. Raphael's depictions in art and iconography have evolved over the centuries, capturing the multifaceted nature of his divine role. From the early medieval period through to modern interpretations, Raphael has been depicted as a symbol of healing, protection, and divine guidance. His role as a messenger of God and a companion to humans in times of need is reflected in the rich visual traditions surrounding his image. His symbolic representations often incorporate elements that highlight both his angelic status and his mission of bringing divine assistance to those who call upon him. In medieval and Renaissance art, Raphael is frequently portrayed as a youthful, graceful figure, often with wings, a common attribute for angels. These depictions emphasize his heavenly nature and divine authority. Artists of the period, influenced by the theological frameworks of the time, focused on Raphael's role as a protector and healer. He is sometimes shown guiding or assisting individuals, reflecting his role in the Book of Tobit, where he helps Tobias navigate his journey and heal his father's blindness. These images often capture Raphael in action, performing miracles or offering guidance, thus making his role in the biblical narrative central to the artistic composition. Raphael's presence in illuminated manuscripts during the medieval period is especially notable. These intricately decorated texts often depicted angels in scenes of divine revelation or in moments of divine intervention. In these manuscripts, Raphael's healing touch and protective nature were central themes, and his image was crafted with care to convey both grace and power. His portrayal in such texts helped solidify his connection to the healing arts, with his figure often illuminated in vibrant colors and adorned with elaborate halos to signify his angelic identity. During the Baroque period, Raphael's depictions grew more elaborate, often shown as a figure of majestic beauty, symbolizing divine grace and mercy. Artists like Guido Reni and others painted him in scenes that depicted not just his healing but also his role as an intercessor between the human and divine realm. Raphael was frequently shown in close proximity to the sick, the suffering, or the vulnerable, reflecting his role in offering protection and spiritual care. His role as a healer of both physical and emotional wounds became more emphasized, with his hands often outstretched in acts of mercy, a visual representation of the divine intervention he brought to the lives of those who sought his aid. In more modern depictions, Raphael has often been portrayed in settings that highlight his association with healing and health. Whether in religious paintings or contemporary illustrations, Raphael is frequently shown as the calming presence in moments of spiritual turmoil or human suffering. His image has evolved but consistently remains one of reassurance, reflecting his enduring role as a divine guide who brings both spiritual and physical healing. Through these artistic interpretations, Raphael has come to symbolize more than just an archangel, represents hope, restoration, and the light of divine intervention. His depictions continue to inspire and comfort, reminding us of the power of divine grace that can reach through the veil of suffering to heal and protect. Raphael's connection to astrology and the zodiac is often considered through the lens of his divine role as a healer and guide, with his influence subtly woven into spiritual practices that look to the stars for guidance. As one of the archangels, Raphael is closely tied to celestial forces, bridging the divine and human realms. While not explicitly mentioned in the Bible as part of astrological symbolism, his role as a messenger of God and a protector aligns with certain astrological traditions that view the celestial bodies as carrying divine messages and influence. In the context of the zodiac, Raphael is sometimes linked with the sign of Gemini, the twins. This connection is rooted in the symbolic meaning of duality and balance, qualities that Raphael embodies in his nature as both a healer and a guide. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is associated with communication, intellect, and adaptability, all traits that align with Raphael's role as a divine messenger and intermediary between heaven and earth. The idea of duality in Gemini presenting both the mind and spirit parallels Raphael's work in both the physical and spiritual realms, offering healing not only to the body but also to the soul. Furthermore, Raphael's influence is also linked with Virgo, a sign that embodies purity, healing, and service. These qualities resonate with Raphael's mission to bring divine assistance and spiritual healing to humanity. Virgo's association with the earth and its deep connection to service and practical action parallels Raphael's role in guiding people on their journeys, whether in the Book of Tobit or through more generalized divine intervention. Raphael's alignment with Virgo emphasizes his healing nature, which not only nurtures but restores balance in the lives of those who seek his help. Astrologically, Raphael is also tied to the planetary influence of Mercury, the planet of communication, intellect, and healing. Mercury's qualities of quick thinking, adaptability, and guidance fit well within the framework of Raphael's duties. As an angelic messenger, Raphael is thought to deliver God's messages and wisdom, much like Mercury, who is known for guiding souls and bridging gaps between worlds. His association with Mercury emphasizes his role in the dissemination of knowledge, healing, and bringing clarity to complex situations. In spiritual practices, Raphael's connection to celestial bodies can be seen as a reminder that the universe operates under divine order, and that the cosmic realm and the human realm are intertwined. Astrologers and those who follow these spiritual practices often turn to Raphael for guidance during times of physical or spiritual healing. His association with the stars and the planets invites a deeper understanding of the cosmos as a reflection of divine intelligence and harmony, providing comfort to those seeking direction through their own cosmic journeys. Thus, Raphael's connection to astrology and the zodiac highlights his ongoing influence in both spiritual and earthly realms, guiding individuals through life's challenges with divine wisdom drawn from the celestial order. Whether through his alignment with Gemini, Virgo, or Mercury, his influence underscores his perpetual role as a healer, protector, and divine messenger, reminding humanity that the stars themselves may carry messages of healing and hope. Raphael holds a significant place in Jewish tradition, though his role is often more subtle compared to other figures like Michael or Gabriel. As one of the archangels in Jewish angelology, Raphael is intimately tied to themes of healing, guidance, and divine intervention. While his name is not as frequently mentioned as those of other angels, his presence is felt strongly within the context of Jewish history and sacred texts, particularly in the apocryphal and deuterocanonical writings. In Jewish tradition, Raphael is closely associated with healing and is often seen as the angel who brings physical and spiritual restoration to God's people. His most prominent appearance in the Jewish canon is in the Book of Tobit, where he plays a central role in healing both the physical blindness of Tobit and the emotional turmoil of Sarah. Through his divine intervention, Raphael not only restores sight but also brings peace and harmony to families, emphasizing the role of angels as servants of God's mercy and compassion. His role as a healer ties directly into the Jewish understanding of angels as benevolent beings who deliver God's will through acts of grace and restoration. Raphael's association with healing extends beyond individual stories and is deeply embedded in Jewish thought. Healing, both of body and soul, is a recurring theme throughout Jewish texts, and Raphael, as the divine healer, symbolizes God's ultimate ability to restore and renew. In this sense, Raphael represents the hope that no illness or spiritual affliction is beyond the reach of God's mercy. This healing power is especially significant in the Jewish understanding of suffering and recovery, where angels like Raphael act as intermediaries, carrying out God's will to restore health and harmony. Raphael's importance is also reflected in various prayers and liturgies within Jewish practices. While he may not be as directly invoked in mainstream Jewish worship as other figures, his role as a healer is acknowledged in prayers for the sick, such as the Mi Sheberak prayer, which asks for divine healing and intervention. In this prayer, there is an implicit recognition that healing comes not only from the physical realm, but also from the divine, with angels like Raphael acting as God's agents. Some Kabbalistic traditions even speak of Raphael's influence in the realms of spiritual healing, recognizing his ability to guide souls and protect them from harm. Particularly when one is in need of spiritual restoration, Raphael's connection to healing and divine intervention in Jewish tradition further underscores the belief that God's presence is not confined to the heavens, but is actively involved in the well-being of his people on earth. Through Raphael, the Jewish faith emphasizes the ongoing relationship between the divine and the human, with the archangel serving as a messenger and healer who bridges the gap between both worlds. In this way, Raphael is not just a figure from ancient texts, but a lasting symbol of God's grace and the constant possibility for restoration and renewal in Jewish life and faith. In Jewish angelology, Raphael occupies a unique and revered position, embodying the attributes of healing, guidance, and divine intervention. Unlike the Christian or Islamic traditions where angels are more prominent figures in everyday worship, Jewish thought places angels like Raphael within a broader framework of celestial beings who serve as messengers and agents of God's will. They are not worshipped but recognized as powerful, spiritual entities who intervene in key moments of history, offering protection, guidance, and healing to God's people. Raphael, as one of the four archangels in Jewish tradition, holds a distinct role among his counterparts Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel. His primary responsibility, however, is the act of healing both physical and spiritual. This sets him apart from the others, each of whom carries out different roles in the divine scheme. Raphael's position is not merely ceremonial. He is actively involved in the healing of individuals, as seen in the Book of Tobit, where his healing touch restores sight to Tobit and offers peace to Sarah. Through these acts, Raphael becomes the embodiment of God's mercy and compassion, performing the vital work of restoring wholeness to those suffering from affliction. The role of archangels in Jewish tradition is not confined solely to healing. They also serve as pivotal figures in apocalyptic visions and messianic prophecies. Raphael's place in Jewish apocalyptic literature, such as in the Book of Enoch, highlights his involvement in binding the fallen angels and aiding in the restoration of cosmic order. In these texts, Raphael works alongside other archangels to preserve the divine plan, ensuring that the forces of chaos and corruption are subdued. This cosmic battle between good and evil echoes the deeper Jewish belief that angels play essential roles in maintaining God's will on earth and in the heavens. Within this framework, Raphael is not merely an angel of healing but a divine messenger. His identity as a messenger is seen in the way he communicates God's will to humanity, often appearing in the form of visions or direct guidance. His ability to heal is not a separate task, but is intertwined with his role as one who brings divine knowledge and wisdom. In the context of Jewish thought, angels like Raphael act as intermediaries between the Creator and creation, delivering messages that are meant to guide and instruct, as well as heal. These messengers are seen as purveyors of divine grace, serving the larger purpose of restoring order, health, and harmony in the world. Raphael's role within Jewish tradition is a reminder of the constant presence of the divine in human affairs. Whether through physical healing or spiritual guidance, Raphael embodies the ongoing relationship between the divine and humanity. His interventions reflect a divine plan that extends far beyond individual lives, offering hope and healing to the larger community. This makes Raphael not just a figure of ancient texts, but a continual presence in Jewish thought, one who embodies the healing power of God, providing comfort to those who seek his intervention. While Raphael is not directly named in the Gospel of Matthew, his influence can be traced through the themes of divine guidance, healing, and protection that permeate the text. In the Christian tradition, angels are often depicted as messengers and protectors, and Raphael, with his role as a divine healer and guide, aligns with the overarching themes found in the Gospel. Throughout Matthew's narrative, we see moments where divine intervention is crucial to the fulfillment of God's plan, and Raphael's presence, while not explicitly mentioned, is suggested in these unseen, yet vital, moments of spiritual guidance. Raphael's influence can be seen in the angelic messengers who appear to guide and protect key figures in the story of Christ's birth and early life. The most notable example is the angel who appears to Joseph in a dream, urging him to take Mary as his wife and later to flee to Egypt to escape King Herod's wrath. While the Gospel does not specify the identity of this angel, the qualities of protection, guidance, and divine intervention resonate deeply with the character of Raphael, who is known for these very attributes. Just as Raphael guided Tobias on his journey and brought healing to the afflicted, so too do these angelic messengers serve to guide and protect the Holy Family in their time of need, ensuring the safety of the child, Jesus. Additionally, Raphael's role as a healer aligns with the numerous miracles performed by Christ throughout the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus' acts of healing the blind receiving sight, the lame walking, the lepers cleansed echo the healing work attributed to Raphael. In Christian thought, Christ's miracles are seen as the ultimate manifestation of God's divine power on earth, and Raphael's healing nature is a reflection of that same divine mercy. The healing miracles serve as a sign of God's kingdom on earth, and while Raphael's role is more implicit in Matthew's Gospel, his divine essence and influence are reflected in the continued healing work that Christ carries out. In a broader sense, Raphael's character as a divine messenger and healer mirrors the role of angels in the Christian understanding of salvation history. Angels serve as agents of divine will, guiding humanity and participating in God's ongoing work of redemption. Raphael, with his steadfast dedication to healing and restoration, represents these angelic functions, working quietly yet profoundly behind the scenes to ensure the success of God's plan. In supporting Christ's earthly mission, Raphael's influence is felt through the divine protection and healing that allows Christ's message to spread and take root. Although Raphael is not specifically named in Matthew's Gospel, his qualities and role as an angel of healing and divine guidance echo throughout the narrative. His presence, while not overt, is felt in the quiet moments of protection, support, and healing that guide the path of Christ and his followers. In this way, Raphael's influence can be seen as an underlying force, supporting the mission of Jesus and ensuring the fulfillment of God's plan for salvation. Raphael's role as an angel of divine intervention is both profound and multifaceted, embodying the delicate balance between God's justice and mercy. Throughout sacred texts and traditions, Raphael steps into human history at pivotal moments, acting as a conduit between the divine and the earthly realm. His interventions often occur in times of crisis or suffering, yet they also serve as reminders of God's compassion and willingness to heal his creation. In understanding Raphael's actions, we see the divine narrative unfold not merely through judgment, but through a continual offer of restoration and redemption. Raphael's intervention in human history is most clearly seen in his work as a healer, not only of bodies but of spirits. Whether it's the physical healing of Tobit's blindness in the Book of Tobit, or the spiritual healing of Sarah, plagued by the demon Asmodeus, Raphael's presence embodies divine mercy. Each act of healing is a restoration of balance, both in the immediate lives of those affected and in the broader cosmic order. When Raphael heals, he doesn't just repair the body or relieve pain. He restores a person's connection to God, returning them to their rightful state of wholeness. This action highlights one of the most important aspects of divine intervention, the correction of imbalance, whether it's physical, spiritual, or relational. Raphael is God's emissary in these moments of correction, ensuring that the divine order remains intact and that humans can return to the path of righteousness and peace. Raphael's role as an intermediary between God and humanity is deeply embedded in his angelic nature. As one of the archangels, Raphael serves as a messenger, communicating God's will while also offering the guidance necessary to fulfill it. In the Book of Tobit, his role as a guide for Tobias during his journey mirrors the role of an angelic messenger. He is not only delivering instructions but also acting as a bridge between the divine command and human action. By leading Tobias through both literal and moral challenges, Raphael demonstrates how God's plans unfold in the lives of individuals. This intermediary role reinforces the idea that while God's will is supreme, it is often carried out through agents like Raphael, who act with divine authority yet also with deep empathy for human suffering. In understanding divine justice and mercy, Raphael stands as a symbol of both. He is sent to restore, to heal, and to guide, which reflects God's mercy in action. However, there is also an underlying thread of justice in his missions. His presence often signifies that divine order is being disrupted and that a corrective measure must be taken, whether that's the healing of a person's ailment or the guiding of someone back to righteousness. In this sense, Raphael's interventions bring balance, realigning the earthly with the heavenly. His actions remind humanity that while divine justice cannot be avoided, it is always tempered by the mercy that leads to healing and restoration. Through Raphael, we understand that divine intervention is not just about punishment, but also about the opportunity for healing, reconciliation, and the return of balance to a world that is often in turmoil. Raphael's role in the concept of redemption is one that weaves together themes of healing, restoration, and the deep longing for spiritual renewal that resonates throughout religious traditions. As a divine messenger and healer, Raphael acts as a pivotal figure in the redemptive work of God, bridging the gap between divine will and human suffering. His interventions offer more than temporary relief. They point toward a deeper, more enduring restoration, a restoration that mirrors the broader theological concept of redemption, the idea that humanity can be healed and reconciled with God, even after moments of spiritual brokenness. In many ways, Raphael's work of healing reflects the broader work of Christ. Just as Christ's ministry on earth focused on healing the sick, lifting the burden of sin, and offering new life to those in spiritual distress, Raphael too brings healing that is not merely physical but spiritual. The act of healing, whether it is the physical restoration of Tobit's sight or the exorcism of the demon that haunts Sarah, points to a divine intention to restore wholeness. These acts of mercy are reflective of the healing that Christ offers to the world. For Raphael, healing is not just about alleviating a symptom or curing a disease, but about bringing someone into alignment with divine order, restoring their relationship with God and with their own humanity. In this, Raphael acts as a forerunner to the kind of divine healing that Christ ultimately brings through his death and resurrection, a healing that is both personal and cosmic in scope. The connection between Raphael and Christ becomes even more evident when we consider the role of atonement. Atonement, in Christian theology, is the reconciliation of humanity with God through Christ's sacrifice. Raphael's interventions often occur in moments where spiritual or physical wounds are deep, pointing to the need for restoration. His healing, particularly in the context of the Book of Tobit, is more than a personal act. It is part of a larger divine plan of renewal that includes humanity's ultimate need for reconciliation with God. In this way, Raphael's work aligns with the atoning work of Christ, as both are involved in the restoration of a broken world. While Christ brings about the atonement through his life, death, and resurrection, Raphael prepares the way by embodying the healing and restoring power of God in tangible ways. His work is a preview of the divine plan of salvation that would ultimately be revealed through Christ, who heals not only the body but also the soul. Raphael's role in the process of redemption serves as a reminder that divine healing and reconciliation are ongoing processes. He is not only a figure of immediate assistance, but also a sign of the hope of ultimate redemption that God offers to the world. His healing is both a temporary solution to specific problems and a symbol of the larger, eternal healing that comes through Christ's redemptive work. Through Raphael, we see that redemption is an ongoing, multifaceted process that touches the individual, the community, and the world as a whole. Raphael's interventions point toward the greater hope of complete restoration and renewal, echoing Christ's ultimate act of redemption on the cross. Raphael's role in combating spiritual evil and disorder is essential in understanding his place within the broader framework of divine justice. As an archangel, Raphael does not simply administer healing and guidance, but is also intricately involved in the ongoing struggle between good and evil. His interventions often occur at critical junctures, where the forces of darkness threaten to overwhelm the light of divine order. Through his actions, Raphael becomes a figure of divine intervention, standing as a beacon of light and protection in the midst of spiritual turmoil. His very presence is a counterpoint to the darkness that seeks to invade the human experience. One of the most significant aspects of Raphael's mission is his role in the fight against demonic forces. In the Book of Tobit, Raphael's intervention in the life of Sarah, who is tormented by the demon Asmodeus, underscores this aspect of his ministry. Asmodeus represents the embodiment of chaos and destruction, seeking to sow discord and misery in the lives of humans. Raphael's role in guiding Tobias to defeat this demonic force reveals a key aspect of his divine purpose: to confront and eradicate evil, bringing order where disorder had previously reigned. Raphael's healing work, in this context, is not merely physical but also spiritual, as he helps restore balance to a soul that has been overshadowed by dark forces. His victory over such spiritual corruption serves as a reminder that divine healing is often accompanied by divine deliverance, offering a twofold restoration of both body and spirit. Raphael's battle against spiritual evil is not limited to specific instances or individuals, but reflects a broader, ongoing struggle between the forces of good and evil. He exemplifies the divine will to overcome darkness, showing that even in the midst of temptation and suffering, divine protection remains steadfast. His work highlights the enduring truth that evil, though powerful and persistent, is ultimately not eternal. Raphael, like other heavenly beings, is a reminder that God's will ultimately prevail, and that the forces of darkness will be bound by divine power. Through Raphael's actions, humanity is given a glimpse of the broader cosmic battle that continues to unfold, where angels fight for the righteousness of God and the ultimate restoration of creation. At a deeper level, Raphael's fight against evil also speaks to the broader human struggle with temptation and sin. As a divine messenger and healer, Raphael embodies the eternal struggle between good and evil, reminding humanity that healing is often accompanied by spiritual warfare. His work exemplifies the divine support available to those engaged in the fight against inner darkness, temptation, and disorder. Just as Raphael assists Tobias in confronting the demonic influence in Sarah's life, so too does he help guide individuals in their personal battles with spiritual evil. His presence stands as a powerful symbol of divine protection, urging those who call upon him to remain steadfast in the face of adversity and to trust in the ultimate triumph of good over evil. In all these ways, Raphael exemplifies the eternal struggle between light and darkness. His role in combating spiritual evil is not only a reflection of divine power, but also an invitation for humanity to engage actively in the ongoing fight against forces that seek to destroy the goodness inherent in creation. Through Raphael's example, believers are reminded that, though evil may often seem overwhelming, it is always subject to the will of a greater power, one that ultimately restores order and righteousness. Raphael's role in the afterlife and final judgment is one that ties together his identity as both a healer and an angel of divine justice. In many religious traditions, angels are not just messengers, but also agents of judgment, standing between humanity and the divine will. Raphael, as an archangel, plays a key part in this ultimate reckoning, ensuring that souls are properly guided toward their eternal fate. His participation in the judgment of souls is not a solitary act, but a reflection of the broader cosmic order established by God, a reflection of both mercy and justice working in tandem. In this context, Raphael serves as both an overseer of the soul's journey and a healer in the most profound sense. The healing he offers is not limited to the physical world, but extends into the spiritual realm, where souls are purified, restored, or transformed according to their earthly deeds. The role of healing in the afterlife is intricately linked to the process of judgment. Raphael, as a divine healer, might be seen as participating in the soul's purification, helping to restore it to a state of grace before it faces its eternal destination. This spiritual healing is vital for those souls who have been burdened by sin or who have strayed from the divine path during their lives on earth. However, Raphael's role does not merely extend to healing the righteous or guiding them toward salvation. As an archangel of justice, he is also present when souls are judged for their actions. His task is not to offer mercy or punishment, but to ensure that the judgment delivered by God is carried out according to divine law. Raphael's presence in the afterlife suggests that he is both a protector and a witness, ensuring that no soul is left behind without an account of its deeds. In this sense, Raphael becomes a figure who serves as the divine steward of cosmic balance, maintaining the order between life and death, good and evil. The relationship between healing, judgment, and the afterlife is evident in Raphael's role as an overseer of eternal reward and punishment. Healing, in this context, is not always about physical restoration, but spiritual restoration, preparing the soul to face God's judgment in its purest form. Those who have led righteous lives may be healed of any imperfections before they enter the divine presence, while those who have rejected God's ways might experience the consequences of their choices. Raphael's involvement ensures that this transition is not a chaotic one, but one that adheres to the divine will and the balance between mercy and justice. Ultimately, Raphael's participation in the final judgment highlights his dual nature as both a healer and a figure of divine justice. He stands as a mediator between life and death, providing not only the necessary spiritual healing but also maintaining the delicate equilibrium of the soul's fate. His role in the afterlife signifies that, while the final judgment belongs to God alone, the archangels, particularly Raphael, play an integral part in guiding, healing, and overseeing the souls that must face it. Through his work, Raphael ensures that the balance of divine justice is maintained and that each soul receives its due reward or punishment in accordance with God's eternal plan. Raphael's presence in the apocryphal texts provides a deeper and more intricate understanding of his role in the divine order, extending beyond the canonical scriptures. While the Book of Tobit offers the most prominent narrative about Raphael, other non-canonical writings also highlight his function as a healer, guide, and divine messenger. These apocryphal accounts paint a fuller picture of Raphael's duties, positioning him as an active participant in events and divine interventions that were not included in the accepted Bible, yet play a significant role in the broader theological landscape. In the Book of Enoch, for example, Raphael is depicted as playing an instrumental role in binding the fallen angels, known as the Watchers. His actions in this context are crucial in maintaining cosmic order and ensuring that divine justice is enacted. Raphael's intervention in this apocalyptic scenario showcases his authority and connection to the highest divine realms, a role that is often obscured in mainstream religious texts. His task to bind the rebellious angels, along with his companionship with Michael and Gabriel in the punishment of the Watchers, reveals his essential involvement in the maintenance of divine law. This narrative also speaks to his role in purging the earth of corruption, aligning Raphael with the role of both a healer and a cosmic enforcer of order. Raphael's role in the Book of Enoch also illuminates his relationship to the restoration of the natural world after the chaos brought on by the disobedient Watchers. In this sense, Raphael is not only a healer of individual souls, but is portrayed as a divine figure tasked with the grand task of purging the earth of spiritual and physical contamination. The events surrounding Raphael in Enochic literature further emphasize his association with purification, healing, and divine intervention in the cosmic narrative that goes beyond human understanding. In addition to his appearance in the apocryphal works like Enoch, Raphael is also mentioned in other texts, such as the Book of Jubilees and the Testament of Solomon. These writings provide valuable insight into his role within the spiritual hierarchy and his association with the act of divine intervention. His presence in these apocryphal texts highlights a more expansive view of his duty zone that includes cosmic healing and restoration, in addition to the personal healing described in more familiar accounts like Tobit. These non-canonical stories reveal Raphael as a multifaceted figure whose role transcends the boundaries of earthly existence. The healing of individuals, as seen in the canonical texts, is just one aspect of his divine work. Raphael's actions in the apocryphal narratives bring to light his greater function within the divine plan, a cosmic healer, enforcer of divine law, and a restorer of balance in a world marred by rebellion. By exploring these lesser-known stories, we gain a richer, more complex understanding of Raphael's place in the heavenly order, highlighting his importance in the greater theological and cosmic narrative. Raphael's interaction with humanity in ancient times transcends the boundaries of written scripture, echoing across various traditions and cultures. From the earliest moments of human existence, the Archangel's influence can be seen in the teachings of wisdom, healing, and divine guidance. Though his appearances in ancient religious texts are relatively sparse, his role as a divine mediator and teacher is felt deeply within the foundations of human civilization. In these early interactions, Raphael did not simply remain a distant celestial being. He actively participated in the development of early human societies, guiding them towards spiritual and physical well-being. In ancient times, when humanity was still finding its place in the world, Raphael appeared not as a distant figure but as an active participant in the unfolding of human history. His role as a healer was pivotal, for in a world that lacked the advanced knowledge of medicine and healing that would emerge later, Raphael offered divine wisdom to early humans. His teachings were not only about curing the sick, but also about understanding the delicate balance of nature, life, and the body. He shared with humans the secrets of herbal remedies, the use of natural resources for physical well-being, and the deeper connection between the human soul and the divine. Raphael's knowledge was not just limited to physical health, but extended to the emotional and spiritual aspects of life, helping humans understand the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit. In addition to his healing gifts, Raphael's role as a divine teacher was central to the development of ancient religious practices. Early societies, struggling to understand their place in the cosmos, looked to celestial beings like Raphael for guidance. He imparted wisdom on how to live in harmony with the divine order, helping these primitive societies understand their connection to the spiritual realm. Raphael's influence can be seen in the rituals of ancient cultures that sought to maintain balance between the heavens and the earth. These practices often involved offerings, prayers, and invocations of divine beings for protection, guidance, and healing. Raphael, as one of the chief archangels, was often invoked as the healer of both body and soul, revered as a mediator between God and humanity. In many ways, Raphael's interaction with humanity in ancient times laid the groundwork for a spiritual understanding that would be carried forward by various cultures. He helped establish the idea that health, healing, and wisdom were gifts of divine origin. His influence extended beyond just the people he interacted with directly. His teachings formed the basis of the religious traditions that would emerge in later centuries. Raphael was not just a figure in the background of human history. He was a force that shaped the way humans understood the divine and their relationship to it. Through his presence and guidance, Raphael helped steer humanity toward a path of spiritual enlightenment and physical healing, providing a bridge between the heavenly and earthly realms. Raphael's role in healing nations is not confined to any one culture or tradition. His influence stretches across continents and through the ages, symbolizing a universal yearning for divine restoration and peace. In many ways, Raphael represents more than just an angel of individual healing. He embodies the divine power capable of mending the wounds of entire nations, regions, and peoples. His spiritual healing is woven into the fabric of humanity's collective history, a guiding light in times of conflict, suffering, and spiritual famine. From the earliest recorded instances, Raphael's presence in various religious traditions underscores his universal significance. His role in healing nations is not simply a metaphysical notion, but is deeply intertwined with the healing of entire societies. In Jewish traditions, Raphael is seen as a divine figure who aids in the restoration of order and balance within the world. His actions in the Book of Tobit serve as a microcosm of this larger mission, where healing is not just for the individual, but for the community, restoring peace and harmony where discord once reigned. In this sense, Raphael's symbolic role transcends personal well-being, moving into the domain of collective spiritual health. Christian traditions echo this concept of Raphael's broader healing impact. In the Catholic Church, Raphael is revered as the patron of travelers, the sick, and the infirm. Churches dedicated to Raphael serve as places of refuge, where prayers for the healing of entire nations are offered. He is often invoked in times of war, disease, and natural disaster, when the world seems to be teetering on the edge of chaos. His intercession is believed to bring divine peace, offering a counterbalance to the forces of destruction. Raphael's role in the healing of nations in Christianity suggests a divine intervention that not only attends to personal suffering, but also aims to restore the collective soul of humanity. Across Eastern Orthodox Christianity, Raphael's healing power is likewise acknowledged, though his role is often framed in terms of his connection to the divine hierarchy and his embodiment of divine mercy. His symbolic representation as a protector of those in need carries a message that transcends time and geographical boundaries. Raphael's healing is not just an individual act, but a cosmic response to the brokenness of the world. Raphael's healing message resonates globally. In various cultures, his symbolic role as a healer is often invoked during times of national crisis. From the Far East to the West, Raphael's name is called upon in prayers for healing the wounded spirit of a nation. His reach extends beyond religious lines, offering hope to those in desperate need of healing, both on a personal and societal level. His message of healing, of reconciling divisions, mending the broken, and restoring wholeness speaks to the universal need for divine intervention in times of suffering. Raphael's global worship and the multitude of traditions that honor his healing power showcase his widespread impact on humanity. In a world marred by conflict and pain, Raphael stands as a figure of divine mercy, offering not just individual relief, but the possibility of healing for entire nations. The Book of Jasher, an ancient text not included in the canonical Bible, provides a rich, if somewhat mysterious, glimpse into the deeper layers of biblical history. Within its pages, Raphael's presence stands as a divine force, intertwining with events that shape the world and humanity's spiritual journey. Although the Book of Jasher is often considered apocryphal and excluded from many religious traditions, its insights into the figure of Raphael help to paint a more detailed picture of this archangel's involvement in divine missions beyond the widely known texts. In the Book of Jasher, Raphael is depicted not only as a messenger but as an active participant in significant moments of salvation and judgment. His divine intervention appears during critical moments in early human history, providing healing and guidance where it was most needed. Raphael's presence in these extra-biblical writings is not merely as a passive observer, but as one who plays an instrumental role in shaping the course of events and helping humanity navigate through moral trials. His divine mission goes beyond mere healing, as he is seen as a force of cosmic balance, bringing restoration to the world that was often broken by sin and human frailty. In Jewish apocryphal literature, Raphael holds a unique and elevated position among the celestial hierarchy. His role as a healer is consistent across several texts, though in Jasher, his tasks often extend into areas of protection and intervention against forces of corruption. While the Book of Jasher is filled with detailed accounts of battles, creation myths, and divine acts, Raphael's involvement reveals a recurring pattern of his presence in moments of crisis. He intervenes at pivotal times, guiding the faithful, offering divine counsel, and ensuring that the divine will is carried out according to God's plan. This role is vital to understanding the archangel's broader significance in Jewish thought. The Book of Jasher, like other apocryphal writings, offers a perspective of Raphael that connects him directly to the broader tapestry of divine history. These texts illuminate how Raphael's presence in the world operates not just through physical healing, but through spiritual restoration as well. His missions reflect God's desire to maintain harmony in creation and ensure that the righteous are protected and guided, even when the world around them seems to be descending into chaos. His actions in these writings are a continuation of his overarching mission, to act as a bridge between the divine and the mortal, to restore that which is broken, and to guide humanity toward divine truth. Through these extra-biblical texts, we gain a more profound understanding of Raphael's complex and multifaceted nature. His divine mission, as depicted in the Book of Jasher, reveals that his healing work is not limited to individual physical ailments, but extends to the very soul of humanity and the world itself. His presence in these ancient writings underscores his role as a powerful force of mercy and divine intervention, continuously engaged in restoring what has been lost and healing what has been broken. Raphael's role as a divine guide for humanity is woven deeply into the fabric of religious thought and spiritual practices, enduring through the ages and offering wisdom that transcends time. As one of the most compassionate and approachable archangels, Raphael's influence has been felt not only in the direct interventions described in sacred texts, but also in the subtle guidance provided through dreams, visions, and divine messages. His enduring legacy as a guide reflects his primary purpose: to lead human beings toward divine truth, healing, and understanding. Throughout various religious traditions, Raphael is recognized as a teacher and protector, always present to offer assistance during times of spiritual or physical need. His guidance is often experienced in moments of profound transformation, when humanity faces critical decisions or battles. Whether it is through the healing of physical ailments, offering comfort in times of sorrow, or providing wisdom during times of confusion, Raphael's actions have shaped religious thought and inspired individuals on their spiritual journeys. His messages, whether delivered in dreams or through sacred visions, carry a deep resonance of divine care, and his presence offers a sense of security and divine purpose in the face of life's struggles. One of the ways Raphael continues to guide humanity is through the practice of dreams and visions. In the Book of Tobit, Raphael's involvement in guiding Tobias through his journey is filled with divine insight, wisdom, and comfort. This guidance extends beyond the practical aspects of Tobias's journey, offering lessons in faith, trust, and divine providence. Raphael's teachings, though often subtle, encourage a deeper spiritual understanding, helping individuals see the divine in every aspect of their lives. These divine messages often arrive in moments of need, helping humanity to rediscover their purpose and connection to the divine. Even outside of biblical texts, Raphael's legacy continues to influence religious thought and practices today. His role as a healer and a guide has become a model for spiritual care and pastoral support in religious communities. His teachings about compassion, patience, and spiritual healing resonate in modern practices of prayer, meditation, and counseling, encouraging a deeper relationship with the divine. In the midst of suffering or doubt, Raphael remains a figure of hope, reminding individuals that healing, both physical and spiritual, is possible through divine intervention. Raphael's role in guiding humanity is not just limited to those moments captured in ancient texts, but continues to shape the hearts and minds of people who seek divine direction in their lives. His messages of healing, hope, and wisdom transcend the pages of Scripture, offering a timeless reminder of the importance of spiritual growth, self-care, and connection with God. Through dreams, visions, and divine messages, Raphael's guidance endures, offering light in the darkest of times and leading humanity toward a deeper understanding of divine will. His legacy is not one bound by time, but one that endures as an ever-present force guiding humanity's spiritual evolution. Raphael's conflict with the fallen angels is one of the most significant aspects of his divine mission, illustrating his role not just as a healer and guide, but as a fierce protector of divine order. The fallen angels, once noble beings who rebelled against God, sought to corrupt both the celestial and earthly realms, spreading chaos and disorder. Raphael, alongside his fellow archangels, was called upon to confront this rebellion, engaging in a cosmic struggle to restore the balance that had been shattered by their defection. His role in the fight against these dark forces transcends the mere physical realm, as Raphael battles the demonic influences that plague both the heavens and the world below. Unlike other angels, Raphael is specifically associated with healing, but his strength is not limited to physical ailments. It extends to the spiritual realm, where he combats the forces of evil that seek to warp the very fabric of creation. He does not merely stand in opposition to the fallen angel, she actively works to cleanse the earth and the heavens of their corrupting influence. In the cosmic battle, Raphael serves as both a healer and a warrior, his mission to undo the damage wrought by these rebellious beings. In many of the ancient texts, Raphael's interventions are marked by his ability to strike at the heart of spiritual malady, addressing the hidden causes of suffering that lie beneath the surface. His work against the fallen angels is not just about stopping their immediate plans, but about counteracting the lasting consequences of their defiance. He aids in the restoration of divine order by healing the wounds left by the fallen angels' influence, repairing the broken relationships between humanity and God. This cosmic healing is not just a matter of fixing what was once broken. It is a transformation, an act of redemptive restoration that touches the very core of creation. Raphael's engagement with the fallen angels is also marked by his ability to navigate both the celestial and human realms. He is often depicted as a bridge between heaven and earth, a mediator who works in the space between the divine and the human. His mission involves not just protecting humanity from the demonic forces that seek to lead them astray, but also confronting those who stand against God in the higher realms. Raphael's efforts in the fight against the fallen angels reveal the interconnectedness of all things in the divine order. The struggle against evil is not confined to one realm but ripples across the cosmos, requiring divine intervention in all its forms. Through his battle with the fallen angels, Raphael demonstrates his unwavering commitment to the restoration of divine order. His efforts are not just reactive but proactive, a powerful force in the ongoing struggle between light and darkness. In aiding this cosmic battle, Raphael plays an essential role in the restoration of a world marred by rebellion, ensuring that the divine will ultimately triumph, both in the heavens and on earth. Raphael's connection to prayer and spiritual healing is deeply woven into the fabric of his divine purpose. Known as the Angel of Healing, Raphael's influence is felt not only in his direct interventions but also through the power of intercessory prayer. Throughout religious traditions, invoking Raphael has become a key means by which individuals seek healing, both physical and spiritual. His intercession is believed to facilitate the restoration of balance within the soul and body, bringing wholeness where there was once brokenness. The practice of invoking Raphael through prayer is rooted in his role as a messenger and a healer. In many spiritual traditions, prayers to Raphael are seen as an appeal to his unique gifts of healing, guidance, and protection. His name has become synonymous with divine intervention in times of illness, suffering, or spiritual distress. Through prayer, believers connect to Raphael's healing energy, asking for his help in navigating difficult moments. By invoking Raphael, individuals call upon a force greater than themselves, one that is divinely appointed to bring restoration to the world. Whether in times of personal suffering or as part of collective healing for communities, Raphael's role is often seen as a bridge between the divine and human realms, delivering God's grace and mercy to those in need. Prayer to Raphael is also seen as a way to deepen the relationship between humanity and the divine. By seeking his intercession, people are reminded that healing is not just a physical process but a spiritual one as well. Through prayer, individuals are not only asking for healing but are also opening themselves to transformation. They acknowledge the need for divine help and recognize that true healing encompasses both the body and the soul. In invoking Raphael, believers express trust in God's power to restore them, using the angel's role as an intermediary to help bring their petitions before the Creator. The act of praying to Raphael also plays a communal role in the spiritual lives of individuals. Communities, whether in times of disaster or personal hardship, often turn to Raphael for collective healing. Prayers for the healing of nations, for peace among peoples, and for restoration of harmony in the world are often directed toward Raphael. His work of healing transcends the personal, reaching into the collective consciousness of humanity. In times of crisis or despair, the power of prayer to Raphael becomes a unifying force, helping to guide entire communities through dark times. His intercession in these collective prayers brings comfort, healing, and a sense of divine presence to those who seek peace and wholeness. Ultimately, Raphael's role in the power of prayer reveals the depth of his connection to the human experience. Through prayer, he becomes a source of divine guidance, helping individuals and communities transform their suffering into spiritual growth and restoration. In this way, Raphael's influence goes beyond mere healing. It is an active, ongoing participation in the divine act of renewal, bringing hope and light to all who call upon his name. Raphael's influence extends beyond the boundaries of Christianity and Judaism, reaching into the realms of Islam, Sufism, and other world religions. In these traditions, Raphael is seen not only as a figure of healing but also as a symbol of divine mercy and guidance. Though his name may vary, his role remains significant in the spiritual and healing practices of many faiths, offering a bridge between religious practices and the universal need for divine intervention. In Islam, Raphael is known as Israfil. He holds a central place among the four archangels, though his role differs slightly from the one presented in Christian and Jewish texts. While Raphael in Christianity is most often associated with healing and protection, in Islam, Israfil is primarily linked to the Day of Judgment. He is the angel who will blow the trumpet to announce the end of times, marking the resurrection of the dead. Yet, despite this focus on eschatology, the qualities of Raphael as a healer are still embedded in the broader Islamic understanding of divine intervention. Israfil is believed to carry out God's commands with complete devotion, ensuring that every action he takes serves the ultimate good of humanity, just as Raphael's healing serves as a manifestation of God's mercy. In Sufism, which offers a mystical interpretation of Islam, Raphael's role is even more expansive. Sufis, who often seek closeness to God through contemplation and prayer, view Raphael as a figure that represents the channeling of divine grace into the world. In this tradition, Raphael is seen not only as an archangel but also as a symbol of healing and spiritual illumination. His influence extends into the mystical practices of Sufism, where his presence is believed to be felt during moments of deep spiritual insight or healing. Sufi mystics often invoke Raphael in their prayers, seeking his guidance in moments of distress or spiritual illness, aligning with the broader Sufi understanding of divine mercy and restoration. Beyond these two traditions, Raphael's healing energy resonates within the broader framework of many other religious teachings. In some Hindu and Buddhist teachings, angels similar to Raphael are seen as divine messengers who aid in guiding souls toward enlightenment and spiritual purity. While these religions do not specifically mention Raphael, the archetype of a celestial healer who helps purify the soul aligns with many spiritual traditions' understanding of divine intervention and guidance. Raphael's widespread influence and the way in which he appears in various forms across religious traditions emphasize his universal role as a divine intermediary. In each of these faiths, he represents a bridge between humanity and the divine, ensuring that healing, wisdom, and mercy are always accessible to those in need. His presence in diverse traditions underscores the unifying power of spiritual healing and the recognition across cultures that divine guidance can manifest in countless forms. Through his appearances in these world religions, Raphael continues to serve as a beacon of divine hope, mercy, and transformation for all who seek his help. Raphael's role in eschatology, the study of end times, is one of profound significance. Though traditionally known for his healing work, Raphael also plays a key part in the divine orchestration of the final judgment and the restoration of divine order. His involvement in eschatological events, as seen through biblical texts and later interpretations, positions him as an essential figure in the celestial hierarchy during times of ultimate reckoning. In the Bible, Raphael's role in eschatological events is not as prominently detailed as other archangels, such as Michael or Gabriel. However, his connection to healing and guidance positions him as a pivotal figure in the restoration of divine order. His healing power, which transcends physical ailments, suggests that in the end times, Raphael's mission will involve the purification and healing of souls, helping to guide them toward redemption and ensuring that divine mercy is part of the final restoration. In this context, Raphael can be understood as an agent of healing even in the darkest moments, working alongside other celestial forces to bring about the cosmic renewal that is promised in the eschatological narrative. Raphael's association with healing makes him a natural ally in the final judgment. In Jewish and Christian traditions, angels serve as messengers of God's will and as protectors of humanity. In the end times, when the fate of all souls is decided, Raphael's role extends beyond simply healing the afflicted. He becomes a symbol of divine mercy that works to restore balance and harmony in a world disrupted by sin. His involvement is often seen as the healing of creation itself, where his touch restores the natural order of the universe, ensuring that the chaos brought by evil and corruption is purged and the divine design is set right. In apocalyptic scenarios, whether biblical or modern, Raphael's presence offers a sense of hope. The Book of Revelation, with its portrayal of the final battle between good and evil, does not directly reference Raphael, yet his attributes of healing and restoration suggest that he would be integral to the aftermath of such events. As the earth is cleansed and the final judgment takes place, Raphael would work as a divine healer, ensuring that the righteous are restored to their full glory and that the divine harmony is once again achieved. Modern interpretations of eschatology, often blending biblical prophecy with contemporary thought, continue to place Raphael in scenarios of ultimate cosmic renewal. Many see his role as integral to a vision of the end times that emphasizes healing, reconciliation, and restoration rather than destruction and finality. Raphael, the divine messenger and healer, stands as a symbol of God's mercy in the final days, showing that even in the darkest moments of cosmic upheaval, divine care and compassion will guide humanity toward its ultimate destiny. In this way, Raphael's place in eschatology offers not just an image of the end, but a promise of healing that transcends time and space, echoing through the final restoration of all creation. His role as a divine agent in the last days speaks to the eternal truth that even in the most tumultuous moments, divine healing and mercy will ultimately prevail. In contemporary spiritual movements, Raphael has become a symbol of profound healing and divine intervention. His image as an archangel associated with restoring balance, health, and spiritual clarity resonates deeply within modern mysticism. Across many New Age and esoteric practices, Raphael is invoked as a healing force, representing the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. His presence is seen as a bridge to divine energies that promote restoration on all levels: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Modern mystics and spiritual seekers often call upon Raphael in moments of distress, looking to him for guidance, solace, and recovery. His healing touch is sought not only for physical ailments but also for more subtle forms of dis-ease, such as emotional trauma or spiritual disconnection. The belief that Raphael's divine intervention can mend what is broken extends beyond traditional religious contexts, finding fertile ground in holistic healing practices, energy work, and even practices like Reiki. People who seek transformation in their lives turn to Raphael for help in releasing blockages, overcoming fears, and restoring inner peace. In these spiritual frameworks, Raphael is understood not as a distant celestial being, but as an accessible presence, a guide who offers divine wisdom to those who ask for it. Raphael's role in contemporary spiritual healing extends into practices like meditation and visualization. In these methods, individuals might picture themselves surrounded by a soft, green, or golden light symbols of Raphael's healing presence. This visualization becomes a therapeutic tool, allowing people to connect with the divine energy he represents. His name is often invoked in prayers or affirmations aimed at healing, with many believing that by invoking his power, they can access divine assistance in overcoming personal struggles or bringing harmony to their lives. Such practices have become a way of working with the spiritual dimension of health, where Raphael is not just a distant figure, but an active participant in their journeys of recovery and self-improvement. In addition, Raphael's role in modern mysticism reflects his timeless relevance as a source of comfort and hope. His name is synonymous with both protection and healing, and these qualities make him a key figure for individuals navigating difficult life transitions. His influence offers both a sense of spiritual alignment and a deeper connection to divine purpose. In a world where physical and emotional healing can sometimes feel elusive, Raphael's power serves as a reminder that transformation is possible and that divine intervention is always within reach for those open to receiving it. Whether through direct prayer, the practice of energy healing, or quiet contemplation, Raphael remains a central figure in modern spiritual life. His presence brings clarity, peace, and the deep conviction that healing on all levels is a divine right available to all. In this sense, Raphael is not just an ancient being of heavenly stature, but a timeless ally in humanity's ongoing quest for spiritual growth, healing, and transformation. Raphael's influence extends far beyond the realms of the spiritual and celestial, reaching into the very foundations of the healing professions. His divine role as the angel of healing has made him a revered figure in medical and healing traditions across many cultures, where he is seen not only as a symbol of physical restoration but also as a guide for those who dedicate their lives to healing others. His association with the healing arts can be traced through history, where Raphael's presence has been invoked by physicians, herbalists, and spiritual healers seeking both divine guidance and strength in their work. In various religious and cultural contexts, Raphael has been regarded as the patron of medical practitioners. In Christianity, especially within Catholic and Orthodox traditions, Raphael is revered as a protector and healer, often called upon by physicians during times of illness or crisis. His biblical acts of healing, particularly his restoration of Tobit's sight in the Book of Tobit, have established him as a divine model for those in the medical field. As the archangel who brought restoration and health, Raphael embodies the virtues that medical practitioners strive to uphold: compassion, skill, and a deep sense of service to others. Historically, the association between Raphael and the medical profession can be seen in the widespread use of his name and image in medical symbols and practices. The presence of Raphael in early medical texts and within the traditions of healing illustrates how spiritual and physical restoration were often viewed as interconnected. In medieval and Renaissance Europe, Raphael was frequently invoked in hospitals and clinics, and many physicians and healers would pray to him for divine assistance in their healing endeavors. His name is sometimes linked to ancient and modern medical symbols, representing the divine aspect of healing that complements scientific knowledge and practice. In addition to his association with physical healing, Raphael's role as a spiritual patron has permeated the practices of alternative medicine, energy healing, and holistic health. His divine intervention is seen not only as a remedy for bodily ailments but also as a force that can guide individuals toward inner peace and emotional balance. He is considered a protector of those who seek to heal others, providing them with both the tools and the wisdom to help those in need. In this light, Raphael's influence extends into practices such as acupuncture, homeopathy, and other forms of complementary medicine where spiritual energy and physical well-being are seen as interconnected. Today, Raphael remains a guiding light for medical professionals and healers alike, inspiring them to approach their work with a deep sense of empathy, compassion, and reverence for life. His enduring legacy as the patron of healers serves as a reminder that, in the pursuit of physical and emotional healing, the divine and the human are intimately intertwined. Raphael is not only an archangel of the heavens, but a spiritual ally who continues to guide and protect those who are dedicated to the sacred task of healing. Raphael's presence in both biblical and spiritual traditions carries a profound message of humility, grace, and surrender to divine will. As an archangel tasked with healing and guiding humanity, Raphael exemplifies the virtues that transcend celestial authority traits that are as integral to his role as his divine mission itself. Through his interactions with humans, Raphael teaches us that true strength comes not from power or pride, but from a deep understanding of one's place within the vast, divine order. One of the most striking aspects of Raphael's character is his humility. Despite his elevated status as an archangel, he does not approach his divine tasks with arrogance or superiority. In the Book of Tobit, for instance, Raphael does not reveal his true identity at first. Instead, he walks alongside Tobias as a humble guide, offering wisdom, protection, and healing without demanding recognition or praise. Raphael's willingness to serve in such a manner teaches an essential lesson: that humility is not a sign of weakness but of strength. It is through the quiet, unassuming role that he plays in guiding Tobias that we understand the value of serving without seeking personal glory or recognition. In the broader context of divine interaction with humanity, Raphael's actions echo a larger spiritual truth: that grace flows through surrender to the divine will. Raphael, as an emissary of God, demonstrates that alignment with the divine purpose requires one to relinquish personal desires and act in accordance with a higher calling. This surrender is not a submission born of fear, but rather one of trust in a benevolent and wise Creator. The angel's very role is an embodiment of this grace, as he delivers healing and protection, not as a response to human merit, but as a reflection of divine love and care. Through Raphael, we learn that the act of giving, rather than receiving, enriches the soul and leads to the restoration of balance in both individual lives and the world at large. Raphael's message extends beyond the physical realm of healing and into the moral and spiritual domains. In his guidance of Tobias, he encourages the young man to walk in humility, heed wisdom, and trust in God's plan for him. Through their shared journey, Tobias learns that true healing and success come not through striving for control or dominance, but through patience, obedience, and faith. These lessons, imparted through Raphael's quiet yet powerful example, reflect the deeper spiritual truth that to be truly whole, one must first recognize and accept their limitations. Ultimately, Raphael's interactions with humans offer a powerful moral framework for living a life aligned with divine wisdom. His humility serves as a reminder that spiritual greatness does not require self-promotion, but rather an openness to divine guidance and a willingness to act selflessly in the service of others. As we navigate our own paths, Raphael stands as a beacon of grace and humility, guiding us to reflect on the ways in which surrendering our will to a higher purpose can lead to profound healing and transformation. Raphael's connection to light is profound and multifaceted, extending beyond the literal and into the symbolic realms of spiritual enlightenment and divine clarity. As an archangel, Raphael is often associated with the healing light of God, a light that not only illuminates physical darkness but also penetrates the shadows of the soul. His very name, meaning God heals, signifies the radiant power of divine light that flows through him, offering insight, wisdom, and healing to all who are in need. In his role as a healer, Raphael's presence brings a transformative illumination to those seeking restoration, both in their bodies and their spirits. It is through this light that his healing power becomes a metaphor for spiritual awakening, guiding individuals toward understanding and divine truth. In the Book of Tobit, Raphael's journey with Tobias is marked by moments of both physical and spiritual illumination. As Tobias follows Raphael's guidance, he is led out of the darkness of confusion and uncertainty into the light of clarity and purpose. Raphael's guidance is not simply about providing answers, but about leading Tobias to the knowledge and wisdom necessary for him to act on his own with courage and integrity. Through this process, Raphael helps Tobias see more clearly, not just in the literal sense, but also in terms of his relationship with God, his family, and his own destiny. This metaphorical use of light illustrates how Raphael brings more than just healing. He brings the gift of insight, showing others the deeper truths of their existence. Raphael's role as a divine illuminator is further emphasized in his healing practices. He does not merely fix the physical ailments of those he encounters. He brings to them the light of understanding and the clarity to comprehend the deeper meaning of their suffering. In doing so, Raphael acts as a conduit for divine wisdom, enabling the recipients of his healing to not only regain their health, but to also experience spiritual enlightenment. His light reveals the connection between body and soul, showing that healing is not limited to physical restoration but includes the restoration of one's connection to God. This idea of illumination is not just symbolic, but is also woven into the very nature of Raphael's role as a divine messenger. In many spiritual traditions, light is seen as a representation of divine knowledge, understanding, and truth. Raphael's association with this light suggests that he is not only a healer but also a bringer of truth, guiding humanity toward a deeper, clearer understanding of God's will. His presence illuminates the path for those who seek divine knowledge and helps them find their way through the darkness of ignorance and confusion. In Raphael's connection to light, we find a powerful reminder that spiritual illumination is as much about understanding as it is about healing. His role in guiding individuals toward both physical and spiritual health underscores the importance of light in the journey toward wholeness. Just as light dispels darkness, Raphael's presence brings clarity to those who seek it, offering a beacon of divine guidance that leads them toward healing, understanding, and enlightenment. Raphael's role as a protector is central to his divine mission, reflecting his responsibility not only to heal but also to safeguard humanity from both physical and spiritual harm. His protective nature is intertwined with his role as a messenger and a healer, for healing often involves the restoration of what is broken, and protection ensures the preservation of what is good. Raphael's protection is not only a defense against tangible dangers but also a shield against the unseen forces of evil that seek to disrupt the harmony of the world. Throughout history, he has been invoked as a guardian, someone who watches over individuals, families, and nations, keeping them safe from both visible threats and the insidious influences that lurk in the spiritual realm. In the Book of Tobit, Raphael demonstrates his protective nature by guiding Tobias on his journey, ensuring that he faces no harm as he travels through dangerous lands to reclaim his family's fortune. Raphael's role in Tobias's life is a testament to the angel's vigilance and care. He is not simply a companion on a journey. He actively protects Tobias from both the natural dangers of the world and the supernatural threats, such as the demon Asmodeus, that threaten his well-being. This protective work is a manifestation of Raphael's divine charge to act as a safeguard for those who trust in God's plan. In this way, Raphael's protection extends beyond physical barriers, reaching into the realm of the unseen, where his presence works to prevent the influence of evil. Raphael's protective nature also extends to his role in safeguarding the spiritual lives of individuals. As a divine messenger, he provides the guidance necessary for people to remain on the path of righteousness, helping them resist temptations and avoid the pitfalls that would lead them astray. This spiritual protection is especially evident in his role as a healer, for true healing requires not only the restoration of the body but also the safeguarding of the soul. Raphael's intervention in the lives of those he protects ensures that their spiritual integrity is preserved, shielding them from the destructive forces of sin, temptation, and despair. In many traditions, Raphael is called upon for protection, and his name is invoked in prayers for spiritual and physical safety. His association with healing naturally extends to his protective work, as the two are often intertwined. When individuals or communities seek divine aid in times of trouble or danger, it is Raphael's name they call upon for guidance and defense. The invocation of Raphael is seen as a plea for God's protection to surround and keep safe those who are vulnerable, whether from sickness, harm, or evil influences. His protection is a reminder that, even in the face of adversity, divine care is ever present, shielding humanity from the forces that would seek to bring destruction and chaos. Thus, Raphael's protective role is integral not only to the stories of those he helps but also to the larger narrative of divine care for humanity. His work as a protector speaks to a larger truth, that God's will is to safeguard the well-being of all creation, and Raphael, as a divine emissary, plays an essential part in carrying out this mission. Through his presence and intervention, Raphael ensures that humanity is never left unguarded, offering a constant reminder that divine protection is always within reach. Raphael's presence in early Jewish writings and traditions is subtle but significant, serving as a symbol of divine healing and intervention in times of great need. Though the Hebrew Bible does not mention Raphael explicitly by name in the same way it does figures like Michael or Gabriel, early Jewish texts and traditions begin to shape his role as one of the highest celestial beings who serves the Creator in powerful and transformative ways. His theological development within ancient Israelite thought reveals an important function. Raphael is not only an agent of God's healing power but also an embodiment of the divine will to restore balance and order in the world. In the apocryphal Book of Tobit, Raphael's role is first fully realized. Here, he is not merely an abstract figure but a personal, guiding presence who aids the human world in tangible ways. In this text, Raphael is revealed as a divine agent sent by God to guide Tobias, a righteous young man who, with his father Tobit, has been struck by both physical affliction and misfortune. Raphael's task is not only to protect Tobias on his journey, but also to heal Tobit from his blindness. bringing about a miraculous restoration of sight. This act of healing, combined with Raphael's guidance to Tobias and his eventual marriage to Sarah, establishes Raphael as a figure of divine mercy, one who actively works to bring about God's will in the lives of individuals. Early Jewish traditions, including those found in the Talmud and other rabbinic texts, gradually incorporated Raphael into their broader understanding of angels and their roles in human affairs. Within these texts, Raphael's function as a healer becomes more prominent. His association with healing was deeply intertwined with Jewish beliefs in divine intervention and the importance of maintaining spiritual and physical well-being. As part of a larger angelic hierarchy, Raphael's specific role was linked to his responsibility for the health of the human body and soul, positioning him as a vital figure in the restoration of harmony within creation. Raphael's presence in Jewish angelology is further cemented by his association with other archangels, particularly Michael and Gabriel. The three are often depicted as the central agents of God's will, Michael serving as the protector of Israel, Gabriel as a figure of strength and justice, and Raphael as the divine healer. This trio, though distinct in their roles, works together in the heavenly realms to ensure that God's plans for the world are carried out. Within this framework, Raphael is revered not only for his healing ability but also as an agent of divine mercy, showing that God cares deeply for the physical and spiritual well-being of his people. The reverence of Raphael within early Jewish thought reflects the broader role of angels as messengers and executors of God's will. Raphael, as one of these heavenly beings, serves as an intermediary between the divine and human realms, showing early Jewish believers that healing, protection, and guidance come directly from God through his messengers. His role in the early Jewish angelology establishes him as a powerful figure, one whose influence extends beyond the written scriptures, speaking to a deeper understanding of divine intervention in the world. Raphael's presence in art and literature has inspired a wealth of mystical symbolism, with the Archangel representing far more than just a divine messenger. His role as a healer, guide, and protector has led to rich and diverse depictions in visual culture and literary works, often imbuing his figure with deep symbolic meanings. Artists and writers have long used Raphael's image to explore themes of divine intervention, spiritual enlightenment, and the restoration of balance, which are central to his identity. In the world of art, Raphael has often been portrayed as a radiant figure, bathed in divine light, symbolizing healing and guidance. His representation in religious iconography, particularly in the Renaissance period, reveals his connection to illumination and spiritual enlightenment. Artists frequently depict him with a staff or a healing potion, both of which allude to his role as the divine healer. His wings, often elegantly spread, are not just markers of his angelic nature but also metaphors for his capacity to carry divine messages and to protect those in need. Raphael's ability to move between the celestial and human realms is thus captured visually, portraying him as an intermediary whose presence both comforts and empowers. Symbolically, Raphael is frequently associated with healing, not just of the body but of the spirit as well. His figure in art often appears alongside scenes of restoration, whether it be the healing of a physical ailment, the restoration of sight as seen in the Book of Tobit, or the spiritual renewal of individuals. His role in these depictions can be seen as embodying the transformative power of grace and divine mercy, a theme that resonates through many visual representations of him. Raphael's light, in these artistic renditions, often represents the inner illumination that brings clarity, understanding, and insight to those who are suffering. This light symbolizes the divine wisdom he offers, showing that healing is not just a physical act, but a process of inner awakening. In literature, Raphael's mystical symbolism is similarly profound. He appears as a divine guide, often bringing wisdom through dreams, visions, and revelations. His presence in various texts serves as a metaphor for spiritual growth, enlightenment, and the overcoming of inner darkness. Writers have drawn from Raphael's narrative to explore the mysteries of the human soul and the quest for truth, positioning him as a beacon of light in a world clouded by confusion and suffering. The metaphors associated with Raphael in these works often tie into themes of restoration, both of the individual and of the greater cosmic order. He is portrayed as a healer of souls, a figure who not only guides individuals toward physical well-being, but leads them toward spiritual enlightenment and deeper understanding. The spiritual depth of Raphael's character has made him a central figure in mystical literature, where he is often a symbol of divine knowledge, grace, and healing. His association with light, as both a literal and metaphorical force, invites those who encounter his image, whether in art or literature, to consider the transformative power of divine intervention in their own lives. Through these creative expressions, Raphael's symbolism continues to resonate deeply, providing a timeless reminder of the healing and guiding forces that exist within both the celestial and human realms. Raphael's role in divine justice is multifaceted, as he is often seen not just as a healer and guide, but as an important figure in the dispensation of both justice and mercy within the heavenly realm. Throughout his appearances in sacred texts, Raphael's actions reveal his deep connection to the principles of divine order. His unique position as an archangel allows him to bridge the human and celestial realms, facilitating the flow of divine will, while ensuring that justice is meted out in a way that also respects the mercy inherent in God's nature. Raphael's connection to justice is especially apparent in his role as a messenger of God's will, serving as an intermediary between humanity and the divine. In the Book of Tobit, for example, Raphael's actions go beyond mere physical healing and guidance. He aids Tobias on his journey, ensures that his marriage to Sarah is blessed, and delivers a message of divine justice regarding the fall of the evil demon Asmodeus. In this context, Raphael is not simply a figure of comfort, but also one who enforces God's order by removing forces of chaos and darkness. Through these actions, Raphael embodies the balance of justice and mercy, acting decisively to fulfill divine intentions while also offering kindness and healing to those who seek it. In the heavenly courts, Raphael's role becomes clearer as he aligns himself with the greater order of divine justice. He stands as a part of the celestial hierarchy, working alongside other archangels like Michael and Gabriel to ensure that the cosmos remains in harmony with divine law. In many ways, Raphael is a representative of God's righteousness, carrying out divine commands that maintain moral balance. His role in enforcing justice is not one of wrath but of balance, where he ensures that God's laws are followed while also offering opportunities for redemption to those who earnestly seek it. Raphael's function as a mediator is crucial, particularly in the way he conveys divine judgment to humanity. His interventions serve as reminders of God's will and the consequences of defying divine order. However, his nature as a healer allows him to mediate between divine justice and mercy, offering guidance to those who may be lost or struggling under the weight of their actions. By offering healing to Tobias, for example, he simultaneously reinforces the need for spiritual and moral growth, showing that while justice may come, it is not without an opportunity for redemption and transformation. In this light, Raphael's work can be seen as a delicate balance of justice, mercy, and divine purpose. Through his actions, he ensures that divine will is executed and that humanity is given the chance to align itself with the higher moral order. Raphael's presence in the heavenly courts underscores that divine justice is not about punishment alone, but about restoring the balance of the universe and guiding souls back to the path of righteousness. His mediation is a powerful reminder that even in the face of divine justice, there remains a way forward, a way defined by mercy, guidance, and the opportunity for spiritual healing. Raphael's enduring legacy stretches far beyond the pages of ancient texts, continuing to inspire religious, spiritual, and cultural movements around the world. His story, marked by compassion, healing, and divine guidance, resonates deeply within human hearts, offering a sense of comfort and hope. Over time, Raphael's role as a divine healer and protector has not only been embraced by traditional religious groups but also integrated into diverse spiritual practices, becoming a symbol of light, transformation, and mercy. His name is invoked across various faiths, from Christianity to Judaism, Islam, and even modern New Age movements, solidifying his place in the spiritual consciousness of humanity. In the context of modern spirituality, Raphael's influence remains profound. His healing powers, once primarily understood through biblical narratives, have found their way into contemporary spiritual practices. Many now turn to Raphael for physical, emotional, and spiritual healing, seeking his intervention through prayer, meditation, or rituals. His association with health and wellness has led to his veneration by those in the medical and healing professions, who look to him for guidance in their work. Raphael's ability to restore balance and bring divine peace has become a cornerstone in many spiritual practices that emphasize holistic well-being, transcending the limitations of time and space. In this way, Raphael continues to be seen as a bridge between the human and divine, offering a source of strength and comfort in times of need. Raphael's impact is also seen in the cultural and artistic expressions of various societies. From medieval paintings to modern-day representations, Raphael's image has been rendered as both a celestial figure of justice and a compassionate healer. Artists, writers, and thinkers across centuries have drawn from his example, capturing the essence of his divine role in their work. Raphael's gentle presence, symbolizing mercy and divine guidance, has inspired countless works of literature, art, and even popular media, ensuring that his influence continues to shape how we view the relationship between humanity and the divine. The ongoing reverence and veneration of Raphael worldwide serve as a testament to the timeless relevance of his story. Churches dedicated to Raphael, prayers invoking his name, and festivals celebrating his role as the healer and protector are found in many parts of the world. In Christianity, particularly, Raphael's patronage is invoked by those seeking physical healing or spiritual comfort, a connection that spans generations of believers. The lasting nature of Raphael's presence in both historical and contemporary spiritual practices underscores his importance as more than just a figure of the past, but as a living, guiding force in the spiritual lives of many. Raphael's legacy is one of light and healing, serving as a reminder of the divine presence that guides and nurtures. His story continues to inspire people across cultures, proving that the lessons of compassion, mercy, and guidance that he embodies are as relevant today as they were in the ancient texts where his name first appeared. Raphael's enduring impact on religious and spiritual movements ensures that his role as a divine healer and protector will continue to influence and inspire humanity for generations to come. The final mission of Raphael, as foreseen in various prophecies, holds a deep and resonant significance for both religious and spiritual communities. Often depicted as a messenger of divine healing, justice, and guidance, Raphael's return is interwoven with the fulfillment of eschatological events that are believed to herald the restoration of divine order. His role in the future, according to many ancient traditions, is not simply that of an observer, but one who will actively participate in the dramatic unfolding of the final days, ensuring that the world transitions from disorder to divine peace. Throughout biblical and apocalyptic literature, the Archangel Raphael has been envisioned as playing a crucial role in the purification of the world, bringing healing to the spiritually wounded and guiding souls toward their eternal destiny. Raphael's return, as prophesied in some traditions, is associated with the closing chapters of history, when the celestial and earthly realms will once again intersect in a profound way. It is during these final days that Raphael is expected to help restore the balance that was lost through the corruption and suffering of mankind. The Archangel's return is thought to coincide with the establishment of God's final judgment, where those who have remained faithful to divine truth will be rewarded, and those who have persisted in evil will face their reckoning. In these moments of profound transformation, Raphael, embodying mercy and healing, will help prepare the way for the new world, aiding in the divine healing of both the earth and its inhabitants. In modern spiritual thought, Raphael's return is seen not only in terms of physical prophecy but also in the ongoing spiritual missions of individuals and communities. As humanity grapples with issues like illness, suffering, and injustice, many see Raphael's divine role as crucial in times of crisis. His essence, as the healer of nations and souls, is believed to be an active force in guiding humanity through the modern era, offering solace to those in need of spiritual or physical healing. Some contemporary mystics interpret Raphael's return as the manifestation of healing energies in the world, helping individuals reconnect with divine wisdom and compassion in the face of societal challenges. Whether through moments of profound personal revelation, miraculous healings, or the quiet guidance that Raphael provides through dreams and prayer, his presence in the modern world serves as a reminder of the eternal truth that the divine has not forsaken humanity. The significance of Raphael's missions in the modern era goes beyond simply fulfilling ancient prophecies. It is about the eternal relationship between humanity and the divine, a relationship that Raphael embodies through his action. As an archangel, Raphael's ultimate mission is to guide humanity back to wholeness, assisting in the spiritual renewal of individuals and societies alike. His return, both as a celestial figure and as an active force within the hearts of those who invoke him, promises that divine healing will continue to flow through the world regardless of the challenges that arise in the final days. In this sense, Raphael's mission is not limited to an end, but extends as an eternal source of mercy, justice, and spiritual restoration. As future generations look to the celestial figures that have shaped spiritual beliefs, Raphael's significance will continue to resonate deeply within the hearts of those seeking healing, guidance, and protection. His legacy, which transcends time, will remain a beacon of divine intervention, offering comfort and wisdom to those who walk the path of spiritual growth. Raphael, as the Archangel of healing and mercy, represents an enduring force in the human experience, forever connected to humanity's deepest struggles and hopes. His teachings rooted in the power of healing, compassion, and divine care will remain relevant, guiding individuals and communities through both personal and collective challenges. The lasting message that Raphael imparts is one of spiritual restoration. As the world changes and new challenges arise, his role will continue to be seen as a guiding light, offering solace in times of suffering. Healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, is a central aspect of Raphael's mission, and this will be especially pertinent for generations facing the complexities of modern life. With the stresses of contemporary society, people will turn to Raphael's example of divine care, seeking comfort in his power to heal wounds both seen and unseen. In a world where individuals often feel disconnected from divine purpose, Raphael's presence will serve as a reminder that there is always a higher power to turn to, a divine guide who will support and protect them. Raphael's teachings will not only be linked to personal healing but will also touch on broader themes of spiritual protection and growth. As humanity faces periods of instability, whether political, social, or environmental, the Archangel's message of resilience and divine guidance will serve as a pillar of strength for future generations. The notion that Raphael is a protector, standing between humankind and the forces of destruction, will continue to inspire those who feel threatened by the overwhelming forces of chaos. He will be viewed as a guardian, offering reassurance that through divine intervention, humanity can rise above adversity and find peace. Moreover, Raphael's influence will be felt in the ongoing spiritual development of humanity. His role in guiding individuals toward their higher purpose, promoting moral growth, and helping people see beyond the immediate struggles of life will be foundational to future teachings. As the Archangel embodies the compassionate healer, his example will encourage future generations to embrace empathy, kindness, and selflessness in their own lives. The message of healing both of the self and of others will be central to the spiritual practices passed down, ensuring that Raphael's impact extends beyond mere stories or prayers. and into the very fabric of human experience. In the centuries to come, Raphael's presence will remain steadfast in the hearts and minds of those who seek healing, guidance, and protection. His timeless message will continue to offer hope, reminding humanity that divine love and mercy are never far away, guiding us toward spiritual wholeness. Through his example, future generations will understand that healing and transformation are not only possible but part of the ongoing human journey, forever intertwined with the celestial forces that have always watched over them. Raphael stands as a unique figure whose presence crosses religious boundaries, offering a rare point of unity in a world often divided by faith and belief. Across Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and various mystical traditions, Raphael emerges consistently as a symbol of healing, protection, and divine guidance. This shared recognition positions him as a powerful catalyst for interfaith dialogue, bridging gaps that might otherwise seem insurmountable. His story and attributes provide common ground where diverse religious communities can come together, acknowledging a shared reverence for a figure whose mission transcends doctrinal differences. At the heart of Raphael's message is healing both physical and spiritual, which resonates deeply across religious traditions. Whether as the healer who restores sight to Tobit, the protector who guides Tobias on his journey, or the angel who binds fallen forces in apocryphal texts, Raphael's role reflects a universal human need for restoration and wholeness. This shared aspiration toward healing makes Raphael a natural ambassador for dialogue between faiths, inviting believers to reflect on what unites rather than divides them. In recognizing Raphael's work, different traditions can appreciate a common spiritual language of compassion, mercy, and hope. Moreover, Raphael's protective nature speaks to a universal desire for safety and guidance amid life's uncertainties. In Islam, Raphael is often identified with Israfil, the angel associated with the trumpet signaling the Day of Judgment, highlighting his role in cosmic order and divine justice. In Christian and Jewish traditions, Raphael's protective and guiding presence underscores the belief that humanity is never alone in facing trials. These themes provide a framework for conversations about shared values, compassion, justice, and divine care that are foundational across religious teachings. Such conversations can foster mutual respect and understanding, essential for peaceful coexistence in a pluralistic world. Raphael's symbolism also extends into the realm of spiritual enlightenment and the pursuit of wisdom, themes deeply valued in many faiths. His connection to light, clarity, and divine knowledge offers a metaphor for the quest for truth, a journey undertaken by adherents of many religions. By focusing on these shared aspirations, interfaith dialogue can move beyond surface differences to explore profound spiritual truths that resonate universally. Raphael becomes a figure who invites believers to see their faith as part of a larger, interconnected spiritual heritage, encouraging cooperation and unity. In today's fractured world, where conflicts often arise from misunderstandings and religious intolerance, Raphael's role as a healer and mediator takes on new urgency. His example reminds us that healing, whether of bodies, communities, or relationships, requires humility, patience, and openness to others. By invoking Raphael's spirit in interfaith efforts, communities can find inspiration to work together toward peace, healing historical wounds, and building a future grounded in shared values. Ultimately, Raphael's presence in multiple religious traditions is more than coincidence. It is a testament to the enduring human longing for healing, protection, and divine connection. His story challenges believers to look beyond divisions and recognize the threads of unity woven throughout the world's spiritual landscapes. As a figure of peace and compassion, Raphael invites all faiths to engage in dialogue rooted in mutual respect and a collective commitment to healing both the individual soul and the broader human family. Raphael, the eternal Archangel, represents more than just a celestial messenger or healer. His role in the divine plan unfolds as a testament to the boundless reach of divine grace, healing, and justice that transcends time and space. From his early presence in the heavenly realms to his interventions on earth, Raphael's influence continues to echo through religious, spiritual, and mystical traditions. His work, grounded in compassion and protection, illustrates a cosmic order that seeks balance and restoration, always working toward the elevation of humanity and the healing of brokenness in the world. Raphael's presence is a reminder that divine intervention, though often unseen, is always at work, guiding, protecting, and healing. Whether in the personal healing of Tobias or the cosmic battle against fallen angels, Raphael's actions reflect the harmony between justice and mercy that defines God's relationship with creation. His role in binding the Watchers in the Book of Enoch and his healing of the sick and wounded in sacred texts show that he is not only a healer of bodies but also a purifier of souls, a figure who mediates between the divine and the human. His enduring importance lies in this delicate balance, for he embodies both divine justice and mercy, working tirelessly to restore what was lost and to preserve what is sacred. As a figure of grace, Raphael reminds humanity of the potential for healing, redemption, and transformation that lies within every person and every situation. His work does not end with the conclusion of any particular story, but continues as a living symbol of the divine attributes that sustain and renew creation. Raphael's presence in moments of crisis, whether spiritual or physical, provides hope that no darkness is beyond God's light, no suffering beyond divine healing. He is a living embodiment of the compassionate nature of the divine, showing that the work of God is never finished, never static, but ongoing, ever present in the lives of all who seek his help. Raphael's role in both heaven and earth underscores the profound connection between the divine and the earthly. In the celestial courts, he serves as a faithful servant, carrying out divine will with precision and grace. On earth, he appears as a guide, a protector, and a healer, intervening in the lives of individuals, families, and nations. The continuity of his presence across different traditions and ages speaks to the universality of his mission. He is not confined to one time, one place, or one group of people, but exists as a symbol of the eternal relationship between humanity and the divine. Through Raphael's actions, we are reminded that divine healing and justice are not mere ideals but forces that shape reality, bringing about transformation and renewal. In conclusion, Raphael is a symbol of the divine plan's unfolding grace, always present to heal, protect, and restore. His role as the eternal Archangel continues to inspire and guide, offering humanity a living testament to the boundless possibilities for divine intervention, mercy, and justice. Raphael stands as a beacon of hope, a reminder that no matter the darkness we face, divine grace will always illuminate the path toward healing, redemption, and justice.